Welcome to the first annual Power Up Summit. I am your host, and I am the founder and creator of this conference. In addition, I am a speaker, author, coach, entrepreneur over 23 years. I've been in the healthcare field for over 30 plus years, and I'm a connector, and I love to collaborate. Many of you know me from Success Women's Conference, and I am the co-founder and director at that conference, where we have over 1,000 people every year at the conference. Plus, last year we had over 100 speakers, and we had over 25 states represented. Of course, we will not be doing that conference in person this year. We will go virtual. So look for more information coming on the Success Women's Conference, which will take place in October. So feel free to go over and apply to speak and nominate that special woman for top influencers, and go ahead and register for your free attendance. So that being said, I want to go through and talk about what you can expect for the next 3 days of the Power Up Summit. Today, you'll have several speakers. Over the next 3 days, we'll have over 25 plus speakers. In addition, tomorrow we'll kick off at 8 o'clock in the morning and go all day long. We will wrap up in the afternoon with an actual in-person meetup from 6 to 9 at Hilton Garden Inn. Check the website. You'll find that information there. And you will need to RSVP because social distancing will be in full effect as well. We will end the conference on Sunday. We'll kick it off with the gospel, with our none other than gospel favorite, Lakeisha Cotton and friends, as we have a gospel hour. In addition to that, we'll have some more speakers, including myself, and we will end the day for you elite ticket holders. That's right, elite ticket holders. Part of your experience is being a part of the mastermind, and that will include Ty Miles and me as I coach on how to create a profitable event. And we're going to dig deeper. In addition to that, we're going to teach you how to monetize your opportunities on branding. So make sure you tune in. And if you haven't got your elite ticket, it is still available online. It is a private session that you'll need to, you can get your ticket at powerupsummit.com or Eventbrite, but make sure you get it. But right now, I want to remind you once again, sharing is caring. We ask that you share out and start a watch party with your friends right now. So coming to the stage right now is Brenda Myers. Brenda Myers is a financial broker. She is a wealth creator. She is the CEO and founder of Journey Insurance Solutions. And today she's going to be talking to you about strategies to grow, protect, and transfer wealth in a pandemic. Welcome to the stage, Brenda Myers from Jackson, Mississippi.
Hello, everyone. I am so excited today for the Power Up Summit 2020. I am Brenda Myers, and I am one of your speakers today. And first of all, I want to thank Ms. Kern Cherry for giving me this opportunity to pour into you guys today. We're going to be talking a little bit about money. I'm going to tell you about strategies that's going to help you build wealth, transfer wealth, and protect your money. So before we get started with that, though, I want to give you a little bit about my story. My story began in 2008-2009 at the turn of the economy when the stock market crashed. I was working for one of the largest law firms in the state of Mississippi. I was a legal assistant, and I felt pretty good about my job because I was working for one of the partners. But the rumor was going around that the company was going to downsize. And so I felt pretty secure in myself because I was like, I'm working for one of the partners. I know that my job is secure, so I don't have to worry about that. Well, the rumor became a fact. The company started to lay off in 2009, and I wasn't in the first round of layoffs. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm fine. But there was a second round of layoffs. And so in the second round of layoffs, I was in my office one day and I saw there was a call from human resources. I was like, oh boy, here we go. So when I got to the human resources office, I met with the human resources director, and she told me that, I was doing this amazing job, and, she thanked me for my services. Then she said, but we're going to have to let you go. I don't recall being upset about that. I recall feeling like, okay, well, this is another opportunity for me to do something different. So that's what I did. I got my severance money. I took some time off before I started looking for another job. But what I did was I ran through the money because I didn't understand what to do with it. I was just excited about having, a little piece of money, and I was, going to do with whatever I wanted to do with it, not thinking about the future. So I found myself in a situation where I had no money, I had no job, and I had no plan. So what I had to do was get up and find something different. I talked to a friend of mine who was telling me about the insurance industry. Well, he was in the insurance industry, and he was being very successful at it. So he was like, well, why don't you try your hand at selling insurance? So I said to myself, well, why do I want to sell insurance? Will I be any good at selling insurance? And so I just went ahead and I took the class. I took the test, I passed the test, I got my license, and I became an insurance agent. One of the proudest moments of my life was when I started my own company in 2010. I had a ribbon cutting ceremony, and my daughter was there. I mean, that made me feel like, I had made it. I started my own business. I got my insurance license, and what better feeling could there be than to have a company with your name on it? I named my company after myself. It was Myers Insurance Group at that time. So I felt like, wow, I made it, you know. But life has a way of showing you things and taking you into different directions. Because when I was working for the law firm, my little modest salary of, $60,000, I was okay. I was like, cool, because what do your parents tell you? They tell you to go to school, they tell you to get a good job, they tell you, well, my dad said, buy some land. And that's just what we did. So I felt like I was okay with having a job. But, things happen in life where it calls you to go in a different direction. So you have to pivot. And that's what I had to do. But when I started in the insurance industry, I was actually working for one of the better known insurance industries in the business before I started my company. And I was like, okay, so this is cool. This is cool, but I want more. I had the drive of entrepreneurship in my blood. I was like, I want to work for myself. So after working for that company for a year, I started during Myers Insurance Group in 2010. And it was okay. I got my little LLC, paid my little $50, and I thought I was a business owner, but little did I know it takes more than just $50 to be a business owner. So I had to learn the hard way. I had to fall on my face. It took a lot of tears. It took a lot of prayer, and I just had to pick myself up and say, you know what, I got to do this the right way. So what I did was I researched, being a business owner, I researched the insurance industry and how everything worked. So fast forward to today, I actually have changed the name of my business from Myers Insurance Group to Journey Insurance Solutions. Why did I do that? Well, life is a journey. And I felt like the name of my business, Myers Insurance, that was for selfish reasons. That was to show the world, she owns her own company, she has her name on it, cool, she's made it. But no, the reason why I changed the name, because, we go through peaks and valleys in life. We go through ups and downs. And so to get to where we have to go, we have to continue on the journey. And so I felt like Journey Insurance Solutions was more befitting of my company and more representative of what I'm trying to do. So let me, I want to give you a little bit of information about my family, first of all, too. I am the mother of twins. I have a boy and a girl. They'll be 29 this year. I hope they don't mind me telling you that, but I'm a proud mom. So I just, I'm very, very proud of them. And I'm the grandmother of twins. I have a grandmother of 4 beautiful, beautiful grandkids. So, I'm just very, very happy, and I want to try to set up a legacy for, for my kids and for my family. And what better way to do that than, to invest money inside of a life insurance policy, or get a life insurance strategy that's going to provide, wealth for the future. The Bible tells us to leave a legacy for our children's children. And that's what my goal is. My goal is to make sure that I reach as many people as possible in our community to let them know, about money. Well, we had to learn the hard way about money and how money works, because our parents, they didn't really know a whole lot about how to grow money and how to protect money, but they knew how to work hard and they knew how to make money. But I had to learn for myself how to grow money, how to protect money. My parents are from the Mississippi Delta, and there is a lack of money in the Delta. And people are just, they're in survive mode, but they don't think about, the future. What are you going to do for retirement? When you stop working, what's going to happen? If you get sick, if you can't work anymore, what's going to happen? So we need to set things in place to be able to, combat those things once they occur, because guess what? They are going to happen. Things are going to happen. Life is going to happen. That's why I have my company, Journey Insurance Solutions, to be able to help you with those things when they come. So let me see if I can share my screen with you. I want to just do a little bit of presentation to just give you some information that's going to perhaps help you along the way. There we go. Okay. And again, I want to welcome everybody to the Power Up Summit 2020. I am so glad to be a part of this organization, this major event. There are going to be several speakers that are going to pour into you. And my job today is to just help you a little bit with money, to learn the rules of money and how everything works. The strategies to grow, protect, and transfer wealth during this pandemic. We are all suffering as a result of this pandemic. And so, people have lost money, they've lost jobs, they don't know where their next meal is going to come from, some people. So, this pandemic is real, and we want to set ourselves up for, when the pandemic is over. I still have money. I'm not broke. I didn't have to dip into my savings. I'm going to be able to survive at the end of this pandemic. No one knows when that end is going to come. But right now, we just want to put ourselves in a posture that we are able to, maintain and have peace of mind. Again, that's me. I am Brenda Myers. I am the CEO and founder of Journey Insurance Solutions. I'm an author and an entrepreneur. This is the book that I wrote. It's called Making the Decision to Purchase Life Insurance. There was so much information that I had about life insurance, and I want to reach as many people as possible. So what better way to do that than to put in a book? It's in my book that's available on Amazon, and it's got information on, why you purchase life insurance, how much life insurance you need, and so on. I'm very proud of that. This is my company, Journey Insurance Solutions. Some of the things that we offer life insurance, retirement planning, annuities, long-term care, just to name a few. That beautiful, beautiful building that's standing up in the background, that tall, pointy building, that's the Transamerica building. My company is partnered with Transamerica. Transamerica is one of our main providers. We offer life insurance through Transamerica. We offer annuities and index universal life products. That's actually downtown San Francisco, and that is Transamerica building is the second tallest building in the downtown San Francisco skyline. Some of our providers at Journey Insurance Solutions, we have the most familiar ones. We have Nationwide and, of course, Transamerica and Prudential. Now, Journey Insurance Solutions, we are able to offer up to maybe 100 different companies. And what does that mean? That means that we can give our clients the power of choice. We come up with a strategy for you, and we select the best company that is going to give you the most benefit from your investment. And then we give you the choice to be able to pick between, at least from 1 to 3 of them. But we have several companies that we can go through to, help you accomplish your goals for financial wealth building. There are some things that can happen in life, and all this goes back to the journey, the ups and downs, peaks and valleys of things that can happen in life. There are 3 major events that can cause chaos in your family if you don't have a plan in place. Sickness is one of those things. Death is the other. And actually retirement is one of those things. Sickness, The Mississippi Heart Association says that, one in three people would get cancer. Maybe 1 in 4 would have a heart attack, and, one in maybe 4 or 5 will have a stroke. You know, those are things that can cause you not to be able to work. What if you can't go to work? What if you can't earn an income? Do you have at least 6 months of salary or income set up just in case something like this happens that will be able to help you still maintain your household? Most people don't have that. So we need to work on that. That's something that we need to think about, putting money aside for emergencies. And then there's debt. If you are a 2-income family, what will happen if you or your spouse were to die? If you're dependent on 2 incomes in your family, then one of those incomes go away upon death. That might mean that you might have to downsize. You move out of your house. Will your kids still be able to go to college? Those are things that you want to think about. If you or your spouse should pass away, I know that you would want to have your family maintain their standard of living. You don't want them to have to go back and downsize and move out to the life from the life that they're accustomed to. So that's where you have to have something in place too for that. And then there's retirement. We like to refer to retirement as the 3-legged stool. Well, the 3-legged stool is one leg is savings, one leg is retirement, and one leg is Social Security. Well, we know that, we don't know if Social Security is going to be here by the time you get ready to retire. It might not be around. The country is at a $17 trillion deficit. That money has to come from somewhere. And what's going to happen, the government might cut some of these plans, so we need to be prepared for that. A stool can't stand on just 2 legs. So if Social Security goes away, you have no foundation. So you need to get another stream of income that's going to help you, maintain during your retirement. We all want to retire peacefully and not have to worry about if we're going to outlive our money. Let's talk a little bit about understanding the rules of money. An athlete is not great until he understands the rules of how to play the game, right? You can't play basketball if you don't know what a foul is. You can't play basketball if you don't know, what a 3-pointer is. You have to understand the rules of the game to be great at it. I'm sure, LeBron James and Michael Jordan, all the greats, they studied the rules of the game. That's why they are the GOATs, the greatest of all time. We want to have the same feeling about money. We want to be the best at managing our money and building wealth. How do we do that? Well, there are 3 rules of money that I like to talk about. The first rule of money is the rule of 72. What does that mean? The rule of 72 was actually created by Albert Einstein. It tells you how compound interest works. The rule of 72 that's how long it takes for your money to double based on your interest rate of your bank or your insurance policy or your stocks or whatever. So how does that work? You take 72 and you divide it by whatever your interest rate is. That'll tell you how long it takes for your money to double. Well, based on the first example, you're getting 1% gain on your money. Okay, so you take 72 and you divide it by 1. Well, it's going to take 72 years for your money to double based on that 1% interest rate. And what does that mean? Mostly banks have they give you 1%. If 1%, you have your CDs, you have your savings accounts, you're only getting 1% gains on your money. So based on the rule of 72, it's going to take 72 years for your money to double. If you're 29 years old and you put $10,000 inside of a savings account or a CD, you will be 101 before your money double if you live that long. Who wants that? Nobody wants that. That's crazy. And the next option is, you have your money in an instrument where you're gaining 4%, that's a little bit better than the 1%. But if you look at, the second example, 65 years old, you're only going to have $40,000. That's no money to retire on. It's better than the first example, but it's not great. And then the third example is, we're talking about the same 29-year-old with the same $10,000 who's putting their money in different vehicles. The 6% based on the rule of 72, it'll take 12 years for your money to double. So looking down at age 65, that's a little bit better. You have about $80,000. That's a little cushion, but it's nothing to celebrate. Fast forward to the 10%. Now, 10% comes in by way of a life insurance policy, an IUL. you put your money in an index universal life insurance policy, most companies give you a minimum of maybe 10%, and some go all the way as high as 23, 25%. But we're going to use this modest example right now. We're going to say, you have your money in IUL and it's performing at 10%. Well, based on the rule of 72, if you divide 72 by 10, your money is going to double every 7.2 years. So based on that same $10,000, by the time you retire at 65, you have $320,000 at 65. And if you're still living and enjoying life 7.2 years later at 72, you have $640,000. That's over $500,000. All this with the same $10,000 investment. This is compound interest, and this is how compound interest works. This is stuff that we didn't know. Our parents didn't know. They couldn't tell us. So my job is to make sure I educate, the community about how money works. The next example is how money grows. There are 3 different ways that money can grow. It grows fixed, it grows variable, and it can grow indexed. Well, the fixed rate is just that. It's fixed. Just say you have your money in an instrument where they're giving you 4%. No matter what the market does, no matter what the indexes does, you're only going to get that 4%. There's no more, there's no less. I'm not sure that's the right choice. That's not the right option. But then there's a variable example. On the variable example, you have a situation where your money is going up and down like the stock market, up today. Oh, I'm excited. I got money. I got some gains on my money. And then a month later, you look at your numbers again and it's gone down. And then it goes up again and down again. I call this example the emotional roller coaster. Who wants to live on highs and lows? When the peaks are there, you're all excited, and then you look again and then you're in the valley. Well, we don't want to live like that, and we don't want our money to perform like that, right? And then the next example is the example that I like to share with my client, is the index example. What that means is your money is not actually inside of the stock market, but you're capitalizing on the gains from the market, and then you're being protected from the downside. What does that mean? Okay, just say if the interest rate goes up 12%, you're capitalizing on the gains of that market. But if the market goes down, you're locked in, so you don't ever lose any money. And so as the market goes up, you're continuing to grow, but you never lose any money. If you look at the index example, you see the little blocks on the stairway is what I like to call it. And because you're continuing to climb, your money is continuing to grow. So you have to ask yourself, how would you like your money to grow? How do you want to be able to build wealth? We want to keep our money and we want to lock it in. At the beginning of this pandemic, the stock market just went crazy. I think it went down to maybe a negative 3.8%, 38%. People lost almost half of their retirement, half of their money that they had in their stocks and whatever instruments that they were, accumulating wealth. But if the money was protected inside of an index universal life insurance policy, then you would not have had that worry. Your money was still your money. Your gains were still your gains. And nobody can take that back, the government or no one else, because that's your money. Now, this example shows you how money gets taxed. We have tax now, tax later, and tax advantage. Well, tax now is like if you have your money in a savings account or bank CDs or any brokerage accounts, at the end of the year, whatever money you've gained inside of that policy, the bank is going to give you a 1099. What is that? A 1099 is a document that you take to your tax preparer and say, I've generated another stream of income. This is how much it is. I need to pay taxes on that. So you pay taxes on that money right away. Well, the next example is the tax later. Tax later is when you have money in your 401ks, IRAs, annuities, pension plans. You put that money in those accounts tax deferred. But what that means is once you turn 59 and a half and you start taking, dividends or getting money, out of your 401ks or whatever, you have to pay taxes on that money. And just say if you had a catastrophic event happen where you had to go into your 401k early and get some of that money out, well, you're going to be taxed on the withdrawal. And guess what? When it's time to pay your taxes, you're going to be taxed again on that same money. That's kind of like double taxation, I think that is. But nobody wants to do that. We don't want to continue to pay Uncle Sam on the same money, right? And then you have your tax advantage accounts. Tax advantage is, these are instruments that you never have to pay taxes on. The cash accumulation inside of a life insurance policy is not considered income. So you do not have to pay taxes on that money. At the end of the year, nobody's going to give you a 1099. Nobody's going to say, hey, Brenda, you've accumulated this much money inside of this life insurance policy. You owe Uncle Sam. No, that does not happen. The money that's accumulated inside of a life insurance policy is your money. No one can take it away. Uncle Sam, the government, the president, nobody. It's your money. Okay, let's talk about retirement. We all want to retire one day where we are, we're happy, we set things up, our money's working for us, we are so happy. The benefits of retirement is, you get to stop working, you get to start living. You can see the grandkids more often. You can do what you want to do. Start traveling, you can downsize if you want to free up money, that you need during retirement, or you just want to enjoy your life. And that's where most of us want to be. I know that's where I want to be. How do we do that? Well, actually retirement is a little bit complex. You worry about outliving your money. You worry about living on a fixed income. You worry about what the stock market is going to do. Like I said, because of the pandemic, people have really lost a lot of money inside of the stock market. And not looking at your accounts, that's not a plan. You just don't want to see what's going on, but we need to be aware of what's going on with our money. So, and we don't want to worry about, long-term care or, paying for assisted living facilities, or what will happen if I get sick. We don't want to have those worries. So we want to set something in place where, we don't have to do that. We'll be prepared. So how do we do that? How do we guarantee that we don't run out of money? Well, there are two ways that I like to tell my clients about how, to protect their money. And one of the things is how I mentioned before, inside an index universal life insurance policy. And the other is in annuities. An index universal life insurance policy provides long lifetime protection. It has cash accumulation feature, and it helps you meet your financial needs. And it also has a death benefit. And the cash accumulations are based on the indexes of the stock market. This is a comparison of the S&P 500 and the NNIUL. If you look at 2002 to 2002, you see where the market lost money. But if you look over at the Index Universal Life side, you didn't lose anything. You actually still gained 0.75%. So I would want to wake up one day and say, my money is protected. It's inside of an IUL. The stock market is going crazy, but I don't have to worry about that. And then if you look down at 2008, that's when I was telling you, when the economy crashed, that led me to be able to become an entrepreneur. It crashed. It went down to a negative 3.49. And we actually just saw almost those exact same numbers at the beginning of this pandemic. So we don't want to be there in a position where we're losing money. And if you look over on this very same line to the Index Universal Life side, you still see where you still gain money. Fast forward to 2015, the market went down 0.79%, but of course, you still gain your 0.75%. And if you look at the bottom line, based on the volatility of the market, you can see where, you've lost a lot of money inside the stock market. But inside of the IUL, you have maintained and kept all of the money that you've grown inside of your life insurance policy. And that is amazing. This is stuff that people don't know. This is stuff that banks don't want you to know. We are in a position now where, we have access to all of this information. And so that's why I'm here today to share it with you, so you'll be able to put your family in a better posture. Index annuities. That was the other thing that I was talking about. One of the other ways that we can build wealth and still generate income for life. Retirement is not just about accumulation, it's about survival. It's about maintaining your money. So what does an index annuity do? It offers you guarantees on your principal. It protects you from the downside of the market. You have a guaranteed income for the rest of your life. If you set it up that way, you can stay ahead of inflation. It protects you from probate. What is probate? Probate means that if you're a business owner, if you have, your home, your mortgage, all of that, if you pass away and if you don't have anything in place, all of your assets go into probate. And that could be tied up for years with attorneys before your beneficiaries even see a dime of that money. So we don't want to do that. We want to have all of our assets protected inside of some type of instrument where we can never lose money and we can just pass on to our families, everything that we've worked hard for and we've accumulated, and then it reduces tax on Social Security income, and then you have a higher income potential. You can set up an annuity where you can get monthly income for the rest of your life. And so that's what we do at my company. We help people, with retirement. We help them plan. A lot of people have money inside of a life insurance policy that they've had forever that's just sitting there. Well, you take that money out of that life insurance policy and put it into an annuity. That annuity is going to help you set up your income for life and possibly, leave a legacy to be transferred, all that's wealth, to your loved ones once you die. We have an annuity shop where, we have several different companies, like I was telling you, that we provide strategies for you, and then you can select the best strategy that's going to work for you and your budget. You put a certain amount of money inside of an annuity, and then just watch it perform. And then when you turn 65, the payments stop, and then you get the gains, the benefits from the money that you've accumulated. You can set up an income for life. What the banks don't want you to know. That's very important. That's the thing that I was telling you. Banks make you feel like, oh, okay, I'm going to give you, 1% on your money. They think you're going to be okay with that. But now that we know better, we do better, right? And I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see this, but this is what the banks and the corporations don't want you to know. Let me go here and move this. Okay. While many wealthy individuals maximize the use of cash value life insurance, there is one group that really understands its value. It's the sector of the economy that controls nearly every aspect of our economy. It's the banks. Cash value life insurance plays a massive role in the financial institutions, corporations, and banks, more than you could ever imagine. These organizations buy life insurance for their billions of dollars and use it for many different reasons. Not only does it increase their financial stability and reduce their taxes, it is an ideal place to find employee pensions, health care, costs, and other benefits. It is common among banks and corporations. And it's so common that they even have their own name or their own acronym, bank-owned life insurance company, corporate-owned life insurance, and we don't know this. The banks don't want us to know how they use life insurance to be able to, protect their millions, to protect their assets. But why am I here? I'm here to share with you this information so you'll be able to do the same. This book, Money, Wealth, and Life Insurance, it is a life changer. It has everything inside of this book to tell you, how the wealthy use life insurance as a tax-free personal bank to supercharge their savings. We need to create our own personal banks, and we can do that. Now, some of these banks, like Bank of America, Wells Fargo banks, JP Morgan Chase, US Bank, these people have access in the trillions, 19 trillion, 17 trillion, 10 trillion, 5 trillion. They have money and they've protected their assets inside of a life insurance policy. So if the banks feel like it's so important to protect their money with a life insurance policy, then why aren't we doing the same thing? It's a life insurance policy. And like I said, the cash that you accumulate inside of a life insurance policy, it can't be touched. It is your money. This is some of the companies that understands the value of life insurance a life insurance policy. Some of the companies you probably will recognize: General Electric, AT&T, Johnson & Johnson, Office Depot, Starbucks. These are companies that have protected their assets with a life insurance policy. And again, if they are smart enough to do that, shouldn't we be smart enough to do the same thing? I think so. So I hope you've enjoyed my presentation today, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen if I can. Let me see how to stop share. Stop share. And like I said, again, I am so excited that I had the opportunity to pour into you guys today. I hope that you saw something in here, or you took some nuggets away that's going to help you catapult, your life, your finances, your career. We are all here serving the same, for the same cause. We want to empower women. We want to uplift women. We want to let you know that, you can do it. You can do it. It's like I said, I had to fall on my face several times, and you go back to the same people and you say, I'm getting ready to start this business, or I'm getting ready to do this, I'm getting ready to do that. And they look at you like, but didn't you just do another business? Didn't you just start something else? Well, yes, but guess what? You fail enough times until you get it right. And I feel like I've gotten it right. So again, I want to thank you guys for being a part of the Power Up Summit 2020. And like I said, I am just one of the speakers that's going to pour into you guys. And I hope that you continue to, to learn and absorb and apply what you've learned here today. So thank you so much for your time, and good luck with your careers. And I look forward to, talking to any of you. My company again is Journey Insurance Solutions. We give free consultations. It doesn't cost you anything to have a policy review, to get an illustration. We don't do quotes. We do, we make suggestions. So a lot of people say, I need a quote. Well, how do you know what you need if you have not sat down with your financial provider for them to go over your money, go over your numbers, and see where you are, and then determine what you need? In our community, the magic number is $100,000. You ask somebody, how much life insurance do you need? How much do you think, how much assets do you have? What do you need to protect? Well, I just need $100,000. I don't know why $100,000 is the magic number, but it's the magic number. But no, you need more than $100,000. If you have a mortgage, if you have a house that's $300,000 or whatever the case may be, if you have cars that you need to pay for, if you have children that you want to go to college, $100,000 is not going to do all those things. So we need to sit down and just determine where you are, and I can help you get to the goals where you want to be. And again, I thank you so much for your time, and good luck.
Because sharing is caring. And if you haven't started your watch party, we ask you to please start your watch party right now. And thank you. We ask that you support our vendors. There are vendors that are participating in this conference, both in person and virtually. And we ask that you support them, because just like the sponsors, without them, we wouldn't be here. So please support our vendors. Go to their website, go to their Facebook page, and support them right now. Now, who we have coming up next is Jocelyn Lane. Jocelyn Lane is a licensed social worker for over 20 years. In addition, Jocelyn is a speaker, consultant. She is the owner of Premier Professional Consulting Service. She is the founder of Pink Project, where she supports women and young ladies. And she is an expert in mental health. Jocelyn will be speaking to us today about pivoting your mental health in a pandemic. Welcome to the Power Up stage, Jocelyn Lane. Well, I hope you are taking note. And during this time, they talk about a COVID mindset. And hopefully some of the tips that Jocelyn has given you, you can use to increase your mental health.
Hi, my name is Jocelyn Gavin Lane, and I am a mental health therapist. And I'm going to come to you today to talk to you about pivoting your mental health during this pandemic. This pandemic has brought about some unexpected feelings that have exacerbated all of our mental health. Our new reality involves social distancing, wearing masks everywhere that we go, and family celebrations that have now been limited to 10 or less people. We're in uncharted territory right now. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how you can keep your mental health in a positive space and give you some tips on how you can do what's best for you during this time. The first tip is going to be to reevaluate your schedule. How are you spending your time? How are you taking care of your basic needs? Making sure that your absolute basic things are being met, and they're being met in a timely manner. We want to make sure that you're doing what's best for you, that you're putting your own oxygen mask on first before you help anyone else. Making things easier for yourself. How are you taking care of things around your home and at your job that can make things easier for you? We really don't need added stress at this time. So making things easier for us. Maybe that means that we are taking full advantage of our lunch break during work, or that we're taking full advantage of our Saturdays and our Sundays off to spend some time with our families, and most importantly, spend some time with ourselves. There are some other things that you can do to promote good mental health during this pandemic. Create structure. Now, because things have been turned upside down during this time, it's really important that we maintain and create structure for ourselves and that we're following a schedule. Our daily schedule for ourselves and our families have changed. And so now many of us are working from home. We are homeschooling children, or our children are attending school virtually. So that means that there are a lot of things happening in our homes right now. And so how are we making sure that we are keeping structure going? How are we making sure that we are showing up with a daily schedule for our families, and most importantly, with ourselves? During times of uncertainty and loss of control, having control of your own schedule and having control of your own structure definitely helps your mental health. It's very good to be in charge of your own daily routine every day. Maintaining good sleep hygiene. There's nothing like a good night's rest. So making sure that you are not napping during the middle of the day. If you're not taking naps before this pandemic, you definitely shouldn't be taking naps right now. We want to make sure that we're keeping to our schedule as much as we can. That's also going to help our mental health and bring about some normalcy for our lives, right? Making sure that we are getting up on time every day, that we're having our morning coffee, that we're taking some time to make this as normal of a change for us as possible. Taking care of our mind, body, and spirit. How can we do that? With meditation, mindfulness, deep breathing techniques. They're all going to keep us in a really good space mentally. Mindfulness can help to reduce anxiety, stress. It can also help boost your immune system, as well as help with your blood pressure if you're having problems with that. Essential oils are also a good tool to promote relaxation and calmness in your home during this time. Another tool that I want to use, and I may be a little bit biased about, is seeking out therapy during this time. Again, we have never experienced a pandemic during our lives such as this. We are in uncharted waters. So it's very important that we're taking care of our mental health as well as our physical health. If you are seeing your provider on a regular basis, maybe for your once a year checkup or twice a year, you're going in to see your medical provider, make sure that you're going in to see a mental health provider as well. Because without your mental health, your physical health is surely to decline. So let's put our mental health first during this time and making sure that we are taking care of ourselves, putting our mental health first, and making sure that we are being the best version of ourselves during this time that we can. For more information on how you can take care of yourself during this pandemic, during these uncharted times, make sure that you are following me on social media. You can follow me on Instagram at Just Jocelyn LCSW, and you can also follow me on Facebook at Just Jocelyn. I would be happy to share more tips on social media to help you during these unprecedented times. Remember, there is no health without mental health.
Well, I hope you are taking note. And during this time, they talk about a COVID mindset. And hopefully some of the tips that Jocelyn has given you, you can use to increase your mental health. And so we have coming up right now some of our trailblazers from Trailblazers Who Lead. Many of these women are doing fantastic things from behind the scene, and some of them have shared in the book, which you want to get. That's right, check on our site and you can order your book right now, and I will send you a personal copy of Trailblazers Who Lead. So these ladies are sharing some of the things that have happened to them through life, in addition how they have led and lead others as well. They are amazing visionary women that are taking part of this project. But I want you to tune in on our discussion. Dr. Yolanda Jerry will be leading the discussion with Sandy Sanders, Sheila Fair, and Constant Willard. I hope you enjoy. And before we go into this, we ask you once again, sharing is caring. So hit that share button. Hit that share button right now. And here you have Dr. Yolanda Jerry and the Trailblazers from Trailblazers Who Lead.
Welcome, 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 Trailblazers and everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I am your moderator, Dr. Yolanda Jerry. Just to give you a little bit of background about who I am a retired Air Force veteran, speaker, author, life coach, and entrepreneur. I impact many around the world with my powerful, relevant, and relatable messages on truth, healing, resiliency, and empowering growth. I also coach, inspire, and empower victims and survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, and youth bullying. Today, I'm excited to have our panelists for the Trailblazers Who Lead, and I'll just go ahead and jump right on into it. Our first panelist is Sheila Farr. She is an internal optimist, also the owner of Gulf Coast Training and Education Services, LLC. She is a teacher, a business leader, an author, and a cheerleader for all women who seek to make their dreams come true. Our next panelist is Constance Woolard. Constance Woolard is a native of Gulfport, Mississippi. In her current role as a divisional director of nursing and utilization management, she is accountable for nursing practice and quality across her organization, encompassing 12 sites within the United States. Our third panelist for this evening is the host of Coffee Conversation with Sandy Sanders, a talking segment and conversation of topics that are encouraging, inspiring, and uplifting. She has been a contact center specialist and manager for 25 years. It has prepared her to also train and teach life skill classes to female inmates in the local adult detention center. So there you have it. Those are our Trailblazers Who Lead, who are sitting on our panel today. Thanks for joining us, ladies. So let's go ahead and get right on into it. So can each of you tell us a little bit about what to expect in your specific chapter of the best-selling book, Trailblazers Who Lead?
Good evening to all of you. From my chapter, the title of my chapter is Humility and Leadership. And what you can expect to find when you read that is about embracing humility and fully understanding what humility is and how do you incorporate that into your leadership. We're in a workplace now that's very diverse with millennials. We still have some baby boomers. We have a mixture and a blend, and we have to be able to reach and to coach and to motivate and empower all of them. So humility plays a big part in that as a leader. And so that's what you can expect to find from my chapters, embracing humility and incorporating that into your leadership style.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Constance.
And from my chapter, it's entitled Finding Your Voice. And what you can expect to find there is a story about a little girl from the middle of Georgia, just a little country girl who had a life that was just really kind of blessed with opportunities to do some things, a little bit shy. So had a little bit of a struggle trying to find my voice. And even though I was really good at building others up, I was challenged at finding ways to build myself up and to do things that I really wanted to do deep down inside. So my chapter provides a little bit of information and inspiration, I hope, about how to find your voice and why you should find your voice, and just a realization that each of us hold treasures inside. So it's really important to have the courage to step out and do the things that God calls you to do so you can impact the lives of others as He calls you to.
Thank you so much, Sheila.
Yes, my name is Sandy Sanders, and my chapter is Time and Words. Time and words are very important, and I talk about this in my chapter because I heard words, or had what I call selective hearing. When I was growing up, because of things maybe that I had done in my life as a young girl. I talk about the little girl, the hurting little girl in us. And I talk about the negative words, how they impact an individual's life. And so that's what I talk about in my chapter. I talk about going through life as a young girl, an unwed mother back in the 70s, whenever she was born, and how I had to develop as a mother and overcome the negative words and not let those negative words impact my life. So that is what my chapter is called, Time and Words. So when I speak to women that are in jail and in prison, how many times in their life they also have been impacted by the negative words, and how we have to take those negative words and convert them over into positive words and positive affirmations, that it will better our lives and our walk in life. And so, yes, that's my chapter.
Thank you so much for sharing, Sandy. Oh my goodness, ladies, I cannot wait to read all of your chapters. This is so exciting. And thank you for sharing just a little tidbit about what the readers can expect when they actually purchase your book and get to reading and embracing all of that knowledge and information in your heart that you put inside that book. So my next question is specifically for Sheila. Did you ever see yourself as someone who would take risk, someone who is a creator, someone who is a visionary, and someone who is just out there leading in the world?
Well, I think I always had it inside. I was always just really afraid to let it out. I was growing up, I was a bookworm, so I read everything. And I was extremely creative because I loved to write. It didn't matter what it was, poetry, stories, just writing for journaling. Even when I was really young, I still did that. But what I found out really on kind of early in life is that I love to help others achieve their goals. I love to be the bridge builder between people and the places that they wanted to go. So more than a visionary, I think I just, I look back and I'm thinking, yeah, man, I blazed some trails back there. I really did some things that kids my age wouldn't have done at that age. But it's not like I set out and said, I'm going to be a visionary and I'm going to build, businesses and I'm going to be successful. Really, the only thing I ever wanted to do was teach. And thankfully, that's what I have an opportunity to do now. So I'm incredibly thankful for that. But really, I just hope to be in a place where I can help people, do the things that they love to do, because it's so important. It's so easy to get in a rut where we follow things that other people want us to do or tell us to do, and we seek validation from other people so frequently. So being able to kind of turn those tables and listen to the things that God calls us to do, and just move forward in a different way. That's what I'm very thankful to have the opportunity to do. So I'm just seeking opportunities to continue paying that forward.
That is so amazing. Sometimes we don't realize the gift that God has given us until we actually step out on faith and just do the things that he's given us, right?
That's right.
Like you said, you've already had this gift inside of you, but you never really knew which way to go until you probably got older and didn't even realize it. So that's amazing. That is truly amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. So ladies, this is for all of you. My next question. We all have that person that we always looked up to when we were young, little girls, and somebody who has always inspired us. I know I did. So when you were that young little girl, who was the person growing up that inspired you the most, other than your mom and a celebrity that you might have seen on TV? And tell us, why did they inspire you?
Well, for me, it was my father's sister-in-law. Her name is Patricia. And Patricia, she's 80 years old now, but even back then as a little girl, she was always this beautiful, elegant, intelligent woman, and just so caring and so loving and so smart. And she was the chemist at the Navy Yard in Charleston, South Carolina. And I was just very impressed by that, because she was the only female in her group. She worked with a group of men and she was the only female in that group. And she did published a lot of things, did a lot of public speaking, very active in her community. And I always looked up to her and I'm like, that's who I want to be like when I grow up. I want to be this motivator, this mover, this shaker like her. And so she, along with my parents, really motivated me a lot and still do to this day.
Wow, that's amazing. So amazing. Thank you.
And I think for me, it was probably my Aunt Grace. So my Aunt Grace was, we lived in Georgia when I was little, and she lived where I live now, actually here. I moved here to be close to her, actually, but here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. And my Aunt Grace was probably the first professional woman that I, recognized in my youth. And she was so glamorous. We were just little country kids. We lived in the middle of nowhere. And when she would come to town, she came in a red Cadillac convertible, and she was just it. She was everything. But it wasn't just the material things that she had. She just had the sweetest spirit. She didn't meet a stranger. Everybody was welcome, and she just loved people unconditionally. And encouraged everybody. So I think growing up, I always wish that I could be more like Aunt Grace. And I think our whole family, if you kind of polled them, they would say the same thing, actually. And even today, she's 86 years old now. She's still going. She's still working. So, she's been one of the biggest influences and one of the biggest encouragers in my life as well. So I'm blessed to have her.
Wow, I love it. Aunties are amazing, aren't they?
Yes.
I know they can, sometimes we feel like we can go to them before we can even go to our mom, and they can just give us tons and tons of knowledge and information. So
Right.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
definitely.
Yes.
Okay.
For
Thank you.
me, I think back to the women that I grew up with, that I would see as my aunts. And like you were saying, it was the aunts. So for me, it was seeing my father's sisters all gathering together. All of them, to me, I looked up to all three of them. But the first one also that comes to mind is an elderly lady. My mother used to take me so I could stay with her because she was a widow. And she really taught me how to pray. That was an impact in my life, because at home, I didn't have that. I went to church, but to actually see someone get on their knees, pray at night, and go through that process, she impacted my life. And I was thinking about that. I said, I thank God for Miss Tom. She really guided me in my prayer life. That was my experience of my prayer life at a young age. And later on, the Lord led another woman in my life who just enhanced that of my prayer life. So I would have to say being taught how to pray, and then learning to understand the power of prayer and how important it is for us to call on our Lord and to pray. So, yeah.
That's amazing. I know one thing about me is I'm always respecting my elders. It's something about getting that wisdom, right, from the people who are actually older than us. I mean, they've experienced life. They've experienced, professions. They've experienced just different things up and down. So it's always good to have our elders. So thank you for sharing that, Sandy. So this question is for Constance and Sandy. So where do you see yourself with you being a trailblazer who leads? Sometimes, they always say we have these other goals that we want to achieve, whether they are long-term or short-term. So I'm just going to throw this out there. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
For me, I see myself having more fun. I see myself writing, publishing more. Now that I have stepped outside of that comfort zone into another zone, I see myself writing and publishing more, just having fun, continue to develop and inspire others. I will be retirement age at that time, but I don't care. I'm going to keep moving and doing what I do and enjoying life.
I believe I'm right there with Constance. Are you still?
Go ahead.
You still there? Oh, okay. I'm really right there. I will be already in that retirement age. And so what I see myself is really giving that full time into impacting women that are being released out of jail, and also continuing in that process. Still having fun. The grandkids will continue to be growing. And so I probably will have written another book, whether an anthology or a chapter in an anthology or an individual book. So continuing my writing, I agree with Constance, and just really watching and being a part of women's lives and watching them grow as others have watched me grow. So that's what I see.
Phenomenal. I love it. Boy, I'm telling you, you're never too old to do some great things, I tell you. Look,
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. Look, I love doing new things and going out my comfort zone. You know, I always tell people, especially people that I mentor, get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that's the only way that you're going to grow.
Exactly.
That's the only way you're going to continue to, you know, elevate and go to higher heights and go to where God wants you to be, right?
Yeah.
So thank you for that. So I'm just going to put this out there. I believe that sometimes we can be trailblazing and doing so much that we forget to take time for ourselves. And, you know, we just forget to really, really just sit down and relax and do some fun for ourselves, which is self-care, right? So what is one of those things? It could be an affirmation. It could be something that you enjoy doing. What is it that you do to kind of just put you where you are putting yourself first and, you know, not going so full speed, 100 miles per hour, doing everything?
For me, my eyes open every morning without fail at 3:30, 3:31, 3:32, or 3:33. It never fails, those 4 times. And so I used to get mad. I'm like, well, I would love to be able to sleep a little bit more, but then I just went ahead and embraced it and says, okay, this is my time with God. This, you know, I'm up this time, it's quiet, the world around me is quiet, and this is my time to really focus and talk with him. And so that's one thing I do for myself. But I advise any of you, if you're ever tense and you just want some freedom, go fishing. I fish probably about 3 to 4 times a week. I don't care if I catch anything or not. It's just being out there on the water, the peace and the calmness. And it's just my time to think and really process and clear my head. And that's how I relax.
Thank you for sharing that. I love fishing too, by the way. I love fishing and I love to eat fish.
Yeah, me too.
But it is relaxing. So
yes,
that's very true, because you're out there, you know, you just out there just enjoying and embracing the atmosphere around you. And it's peaceful. You don't have a whole lot of people around you, and it's just you.
That's right.
You know, the air, the water, and just taking in all of the sun too. Well, sometimes people fish at nighttime, but it is very relaxing. So thanks for sharing that.
I love to watch Constance on Facebook too, because she posts pictures of her fishing, and I love to see that. It makes my day so happy when I see that. But the thing that I love to do is I love books. I love to read. So it's not uncommon for me to have 7 or 10 different books going at a time. I mean, I fly through them. I just love to read. Best of all, I think, just to kind of, when I'm taking just that minute out and away from the world, I love tea in a fancy little teacup.
Yes.
Nothing is
I love
better
your
than that.
Yes.
You can't rush through a cup of tea. You know, a tea makes you slow down, and it makes you take a minute. It makes you breathe. So have a nice inspirational or motivational book and a nice cup of tea in a fancy little cup. That's like heaven to me. Best thing ever.
I love tea too. Like I drink chai tea, black tea, green tea. I love tea. So I can definitely relate and understand that. So good stuff. All right, Sandy.
Coffee conversation. What can I say? Well, so for me, it's lighting a candle. I have an electric fireplace. I don't have an actual fireplace. So I can actually turn that electric fireplace on my unit and get in a comfortable position, my fuzzy socks, and yes, light a candle and just have a good cup of coffee. That's it.
Hey,
That's
coffee
it.
is good.
And just enjoy the presence of the Lord and the quietness.
That's amazing. Thank you all for sharing that. You know, somebody may not be doing that now and they might decide to go ahead and take it on up. Go fishing, drink some tea, have some coffee, and light a candle. I love it. Like, I'm already doing the tea and the coffee. And I do the fishing sometimes, but look, that reminds me, I need to go buy a new fishing pole. So thanks for sharing, ladies. So what advice do you have for those who are watching right now who have not shared their story or who may be afraid to share their story? And how has this project helped you directly?
My advice is to embrace your own personal greatness. You know, whatever gift or gifts or talent that God has given you, embrace it and make the best of it. And understand that that talent is not for you, that your talent was given to you to bless someone else. So just truly embrace it. Learn to inspire yourself sometimes, because sometimes you just can't find someone to really give you that push you need. So like the Apostle Paul says, you got to kind of encourage yourself. And so I advise anyone to reach inside yourself, encourage yourself, affirm yourself daily. Look yourself into the mirror and say, hey, I'm it. I am it. And acknowledge that, embrace your greatness, and go forth.
Yes, ma'am. And how has this project helped you directly?
This project has really brought me closer to my roots in Gulfport, because I travel so much for work and I don't get home that often. And when this opportunity came up, and I said, well, you know what? I can't attend all the conferences that they're having, but I can do this. And so it's kind of brought me back into being closer to home. And it just really showed me what I already knew, that I had the ability to write and could do this.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, Sheila.
I would say that, our stories are powerful, and our stories are what unify us. So I would, if you're going through a situation where you're overcoming things, talking about that and getting that out and sharing that with other people can help not only in your recovery and in your healing, but also in the healing and support and health of others. So I think it's incredibly important to do that. And if somebody's not going through the same thing that you've gone through, you still can help bring about some understanding and awareness and maybe empathy toward other people who might be going through something. So I think it's incredibly important to share stories. And I don't think our stories are for us. I think they are. I agree with Constance. I think they're for other people. God uses each of us to talk to other people. And, we just need to be in a place and listen to him, when he gives us that little tug, we need to be the ones that step out in faith. And do it, and just know that, it's not always about me. Sometimes it's about the other person. And so that's why I say it's so unifying for us, because, I think when we start to share our stories, we find out that we're really not that different after all. We really have more in common than we do that's different. Even though we're all unique, we have so many things in common. And I think that's the beauty of sharing your story too. And how it's helped me, this whole trailblazer journey, it's helped me find my voice even more. Things that I've always wanted to do, I've never made the opportunity to do, but thanks be to Kern and her visionary world, life, and being, she's provided opportunities for so many of us that we wouldn't have gotten, or we wouldn't have taken before, because we would have been too shy standing back in the shadows. So I'm very thankful for projects like this that encourage people, to share their story, step out and do the thing that you're called to do. I can't say that enough. And when I talk to people, I always say that, you have it right here. You have it in you. You just need a little bit of encouragement to get it out. So that's what it's done for me. It's been that little bit of encouragement to get it out there.
Thank you so much for sharing it. And you, Sandy?
Okay, for me, I take a deep breath and just exhale, because that's what this project did for me. I feel like Miss Kern, I think she saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. I have to stem back to, she would invite me to community meetings, community groups, community gatherings, and I would show up when I could because of my work schedule, my 9 to 5. But when she offered this opportunity, there was something in me that said, yes, I can do this. And it was a step of faith. I didn't understand or didn't know about all of the benefits that she afforded us. And as Sheila had said, I probably would not have had the opportunities or the platforms. And it helped me, as she said, find her voice. It helped me step out of the area that I have been saying, what can I bring to the table? That what can I offer? And my story, telling my story, was just a small piece of it, but just standing in it. And I'm so grateful to be in the space of others, meeting all the ladies. That's being a part of the Trailblazers project. I think I said that I never thought of myself as one that would lead. I always would like to support, but I believe that this was the time to say, yes, I can do this, because that there's someone else out there like me. And I want her to know is that the little girl in her, it is okay. She is okay. She got through it. And that's what have come out of this, is the healing of the little girl in me, the teenage girl in me, the young mom in me. And now I'm becoming into my retirement years, but I think it's just really beginning. So yeah, that's for me.
Thank you for sharing, Sandy. So what I got from this basically is this, your story is your story, right? But it's not just for you. It's for someone else who needs to move in the same direction that you've already taken, right? Or who needs to come out of the situation or anything that they've dealt with, to be able to move forward. And not only that, just talking about the book project itself, it's allowed some of you to go through a healing process, right? And realize that, I remember when I had my first time being an author, it was a healing process for me too. I was scared to share my story, but when you look at the fruits of your labor in your story and look at how many people who have read the book or who are going to read the book and get feedback from them and realize, wow, they said your story touched me. I had, and these people, you never know, you have no clue how your story is going to touch someone. But when you get that feedback, you'll be like, wow, it's done. I did a good job. I did a good deed, And so saying that, I just want to say again, I can't wait to read your stories. I'm excited just by the information that I got from you ladies today sitting on this panel. So thank you so much for sharing. So before we jump off tonight, the panel today, I want each of you to tell everyone who is watching, who is listening, how you can be reached and how they can purchase your book. And also don't forget to share your website, your social media handles, your email, and anything else you want them to know of how to contact you.
Okay, well, I can be reached on Facebook. I have 2 Facebook accounts, Constance Willard. I can also be reached on Instagram at Anointed Educator. That's my Instagram name. I'm also on LinkedIn, and I can be reached there as well.
And
I'm sorry, Sheila. Go ahead.
I'm all over the place. I'm on Facebook, Sheila Farr, and then also Gulf Coast Training and Education Services. But our website is Gulf Coast, Train the Gulf Coast. Sorry, let me try to say that again. TrainTheGulfCoast.com. You can find me there. I'm on LinkedIn, and I also have a blog. It's called Thankful and Blessed 365. So thankfulandblessed365.com. And that's just an inspirational blog that I do bi-weekly. So you can catch me there too. The books are available on all my websites and our Facebook pages as well.
Okay. You can catch me, Sandy Sanders, on Facebook. You can also get me on Instagram. My website is www.coffeeconversationswithsandy, and also my email. So you can find me on my Coffee Conversation with Sandy and Friends on Facebook, and also my personal page as well.
Thank you, ladies, for sharing your information. Again, I want to say thank you so much for sharing everything that you had in your heart to share today. I appreciate you for being a panelist today as well, and continue to be those trailblazers who will be leading in the world, sharing your story, doing the great things that you do, hopefully inspiring someone around you. And also, I appreciate you from my heart just for you just being here. I've learned something today that I did not know before I did this panel with you all today. So again, I look forward to meeting all of you again soon. And thank you so much. Trailblazers who lead, guess what? Best-selling authors right here. Thank you all so much for joining us and tuning in with us, and be blessed.
Bye-bye.
Wow. I hope you enjoyed that discussion as I had with the Trailblazers. Working with those ladies have been amazing for the last several months. I hope you enjoyed and learned something from some of the things that they have shared during the panel discussion as well. I am so looking forward to you getting your copy of the book, Trailblazers Who Lead, where there are 29 of us who are led by none other than Gloria Mayfield Banks, Dr. Cheryl Wood, and Teresa Raw Brown, and many other women that share their story in the book. So I am, of course, as usual, I'm always talking about how to create a profitable event. And I'm going to definitely tell you and give you some tips on that. So as I get ready to share on that, I want you to hit that share button right now, because when I share tips on this, I always drop a few extra nuggets in there so that you can actually start your own profitable event. And it doesn't matter if it's in person or virtually. And right now, virtual is the way you want to go. So hit the share button, start a watch party, and get your pen and paper, because I'm going to drop a few little nuggets on you on how to create a profitable event. And I'm going to share with you one of my first steps, a part of my first steps, making your plan. How to create a profitable event. Over the course of the next 3 days, you're going to hear me talk about that over and over again, because I believe that increasing your ability, your visibility during this time, which we call a time of uncertainty, you need to increase your visibility. That's right. You need to level up right now. And one of the quickest ways and powerful ways to do that is a virtual event, well, or if it's in person. But right now, everything is virtual. So how to create your own virtual event is what you'll hear me talking about over and over. And I will be inviting you to the elite experience. If you hadn't gotten your ticket, I certainly advise you to do that. So that being said, as I said before, I believe you should increase your visibility using that. So here are some of the things that I teach as you go through my whole program. And for those who work with me, I also have people that work with me on a one-on-one basis. to make sure that their conference is a success. And yes, they do call me the butts in the seat queens, because not because I just do that. It is important to me, and there's a strategy to doing that. And so here are the 5 steps that I teach during my coaching program, and that what's gotten us here today as well. Make a plan. So make a plan right off the bat. That's number 1. You never don't want to sit down and do that. A lot of us start off, and I used to be a person that start off feet first, but now it's always make a plan. So you're talking to a person who's been creating events for over 15 plus years. And number 1 is make a plan. Number 2 is to build a team. Build a team. And that's another thing that I talk about during my coaching program, and that I sit and assist that people do that. It is really critical to your success. Number 3, creating multiple streams of event income. That's right, creating multiple streams of event income. And now more than ever, this is critical. So I do go over several creative ways to create multiple streams of income, including the traditional ones that people typically know, like ticket sales. But if you're in my coaching program, you definitely don't want to get me on that soapbox. But we definitely talk about all the different ways and some extra ways to make additional income. Number 4, selecting the right speaker, not just any speaker, but the right speakers for your conference. And trust me, in person and virtually, it's different. So there's certain strategy behind picking your right speaker. And if you're having an event that's more about entertainment, entertainers become critical. Who you pick will help you helping you to have a profitable event. And I often tell people, you just don't want to have an event. You want to have a profitable event. Why? Because you don't want to be the person who did all the work, put all the effort in, and the only person leaving with nothing is you, because everybody else is elated at what you've done, but you have no profits to show. So you definitely want to pick the right entertainer, the right speaker, the people that help you draw people in. So this is critical to what you're doing. Number 5, promoting your event. If you have been watching and following me, you have seen a lot of promotion of the Power Up Summit. Now, unfortunately, we had to make a lot of changes throughout. So sometimes that happens. But if you learn how to pivot, and you can pivot well, you will turn that promotion into cash. So promoting your event is critical. And so it's one of my biggies. So definitely that's number 5. And normally when I'm teaching groups or individual, especially my VIP people, I add a bonus in, because branding your event, branding is critical. And it's a bonus that I add, especially for the people signing up during this event, during the Power Up Summit. This will be a bonus that you want to take advantage of. So today, right now, during this session, I don't have a lot of time. So I'm going to start with making a plan, and I'm going to start with just a few things that I want you to focus on. And yes, I'll be talking more about creating a profitable event throughout the Power Up Summit. But right now, I'm going to talk about some of the things during step 1 that you can do to help make sure that you have a profitable event. And even if you're a seasoned event planner, make sure to take notes, because sometimes what you know and what I know are different, and we can learn from each other. But I definitely want to share right now some of the things that you can do. So that being said, many of y'all know me, as I mentioned before. I am the co-founder and director, one of the directors of the Success Women's Conference. And I often talk about how we started Success Women's Conference. Many of the people here needed something. And that's how Success Women's Conference came about. I talk about number one in this first step of making the plan. Number one is knowing your mission and your vision. Know your mission and vision. You definitely want to make sure before you decide to go and start investing a lot of money and investing other people's money in a concept or idea, an event, you want to make sure that it's even wanted in the first place. So know your vision. What is your why? Why are you doing this event? Why? What's motivating you to do this event? Whether it's in person or not, it still costs money. So therefore, what's your why? What is the reason you're producing this in the first place? And as I said before, do other people want this? Or is this something that you want to do? You know, you have to make sure that your why is matched. You're matching your dollars, because sometimes you can have a why and that why is costing you more money because nobody else wants it. So know your why, know your purpose, and know your vision. So when we started Success Women's Conference, my partner and I talked about, we would sit in sessions that were actually for me to brand my business. And so, but for 10 plus years here, women often talked about a conference, a women's conference, which we didn't have. Yes, we had many other events. That's right, networking events, women events, chamber events. We're loaded down outside of COVID. We're loaded down with events. So events after events. So women were not feeling fed. That's right. I said fed. They were not getting the nourishment that they needed to take leaps, to take chances, to do things that motivated them and brought money to their pockets. You know, yes, they might have had a job or two, who knows, but it wasn't enough. And so many of them were like, I don't have time to take off and travel to another state. We need a women's conference here. I've even sat in on women's conference meetings where we were planning a conference that never happened. So my partner and I were sitting there as friends, and I often talk about this in relationship building too, because one of the things when you're building something, you want to make sure that that person that you're connected to has the same type of integrity or drive and intention as you. So this is so we started off taking our relationship and turning it into a business, and thus comes Success Women's Conference. We started off with just an idea. We looked at each other and we said, hey, you know, everybody's talking about doing a conference. And then we looked at each other and said, okay, why don't we just do it? That's right. Just like Nike said, why don't we just do it? And we did. And guess what? The women were ready. Over 540 people on the Gulf Coast. And the Gulf Coast isn't a DC or a Atlanta or a San Francisco area. Over 540 women the first year. I think we had to cut off the ticket sales that year. But anyway, over 540 women attended that event. And so that being said, we have now taken that conference and grown it to over 1,000 plus people. We've had speakers like Dr. Yana Van Zant, Lisa Nichols, that's right, motivational international speaker Lisa Nichols, Robin Roberts of Good Morning America, Gloria Mayfield Banks, that's right, #1 saleswoman in the world, was at our conference last year. Deborah Garner, Dr. Cheryl Woods, who came in and turned the conference upside down. Many women were inspired to do different things. But from that, we knew going in what made our conference such a success is that we knew our mission and vision. We knew our mission and vision. We knew that we wanted to inspire and empower women. We wanted to inspire them, to lift them up, to feel better. But then we wanted to empower them to do more. And we saw that at all of our conferences. Every year, new women saying, I've started my new business and all this stuff. But that's because we knew our vision. So you have to know your vision in order for you to achieve success, which success to me is always connected to money. So you have to make sure you know your vision, your why, your mission. You have to know that. And so number two is, sometimes it's about the looks, right? It's about the looks. What are your colors? What are your theme? What speaks to people when you're not in the room? Nobody knows anything about you, but they see your graphics, they see your information, and it speaks to them because either that color is popping off the page or your theme is speaking directly to them. The year we had Go Vertical spoke to many women because many women go lateral. So our thoughts were, it's time to go vertical. It's time for you to go up. Forget doing the same thing you've been doing. And so that theme spoke to them. Just like this year, our theme is believe, because you need to believe. It speaks to people, and people can connect to that. So your theme, your colors will talk to people. That's right. They will talk to you before that person reaches the banner. Last year we had a banner and our colors is a deep purple. It speaks to people. So know your colors, know your theme. This is all going back to branding, which is a bonus in my training. So you definitely want to know that, and definitely go back to knowing your mission. So if you don't know anything else, make sure you know those. So number three is a critical area in this particular step, because I feel like that if you don't know who your target market is, you'll be all over the place and you'll miss the mark and you'll leave lots of money on the table. So who's your target? Who is your target? And a lot of times it follows right behind your why, because they connect to each other. So who is your target? Are you targeting women, men, or both? And always at the end of that, why are you doing that? Secondly, what's the age group that you're looking at? And why are you looking at that age group? Are you looking at millennials? Are you looking at people that are my age, a little older than 50, right? So are you looking for the young, the middle, or are you looking for people a little older? So with success, we kind of cover a few age groups, because we know that young people need this just as much as people that are a little more seasoned need it as well, because we have women from all walks that participate in success, people that are transitioning in their careers, people that are starting their own business, Those things matter. And why would you pick somebody 55 versus 30? You're right. So just think about this. A person who's 55 definitely has disposable income, right? They're at a comfortable place. Most of the time, 55, 60, their children are now grown. Most of the time, they've even finished college. If they hadn't, they're close to finishing college. They're certainly not spending as much money as they do when their children are younger, so to speak, as 5 and 10-year-olds. As when I used to travel on the road, you spend a lot of money when your children are still in grade school. So a lot of times the millennials don't have as much disposable money. So what does that mean to your event? Somebody who has disposable income is more likely to buy a higher up ticket. They're not looking for what I call the butts in the seat ticket, the base ticket. They want a better experience. They want to connect to that keynote. They want the full out experience. And some of them want all of the experience. But you typically, like I said, those are people typically older. There are occasionally the other, but most of the time, these people are older. They're looking to have a full out experience. A lot of times they'll get their girlfriends to come with them. So you want to make sure that you look at the age group and you really consider what this means to your ticket sale. And trust me, it can mean the bottom line being higher or lower. So definitely when you're looking at these things, think about what age group you're going to mainly target. And if you're looking to do the millennials and the baby boomers, you just need to make sure you have ticket prices that cover both, because this is critical when you're planning out your how to make money from your events. And why I said tickets can be an up and down thing, because you got to consider so many things when you're deciding this factor. Now, I just gave you a few tips right now about making your plan on how to create a profitable event. There are many more things that I'm going to discuss throughout the conference, like location, why it matters, and now with location being even more important, because one of the locations that's driving everything is virtual. So we want to talk about that. So make sure you tune in as I come back on several other conversations and talk about how to make your plan and how to create a profitable event. Now, I'm Karen Cherry. I want to make sure if you're thinking about doing an event and you haven't done one before, or you're seasoned and you're really not making any money, so you definitely want to get away from that. So that being said, connect with me. Connect on the site. There's a place where you can sign up to find out more information about our group coaching program that's going to be coming up really soon. And I want you to be a part of that. And we're going to offer a really great deal, but you got to stay tuned. Join us tomorrow as I announce what that looks like, and you can be a part of that as well. So make sure to connect with me. And if you don't know where to connect me, look on the broadcast page. Look on the broadcast page and join the How to Create a Profitable Event. I'm Karen Cherry. Thank you. All right. I can only give you so many tips. And so I hope you had your notes, because I will be talking about creating a profitable event throughout the next several days. So make sure that you're taking notes. And if you really want to get a full effect, you definitely want to buy your elite ticket experience, because during the mastermind, we're going to drill a little deeper, and we're going to offer a special that's only for the Power Up Summit attendees during the mastermind. We're going to offer a special. So you want to stay tuned in, because you want to be a part of the group that learns how to create a profitable event, or how to pivot like we just done with Power Up Summit. You want to learn from somebody that's already been there. I've been doing this for over 15 years, as I said before. So you definitely want to make sure that you're in that mastermind on Sunday as well. So I didn't want to talk too long, because we have coming up none other than Dr. Cheryl Wood. Yes, Dr. Wood is in the house, international speaker. She is an 11-time best-selling author, a leadership expert, and a master speaker development coach. That's right. She definitely is one of the master speaker development coaches. And she's going to be talking to you. She's going to be sharing with you how to power up your profits as a virtual information expert during COVID. That's right. She's going to teach you how to create another stream of revenue during COVID. This is some of the things that I've been talking about. We're in a time of creation, and I'm telling you right now, you need to get creative. You need to create another stream of revenue. So make sure you tune in, but don't just hold this to yourself. Don't just keep this to yourself, because we have friends and families and other colleagues that might want to hear this information as well. So while it's free right now, they can register right now for this free broadcast. But we're asking you to share this out right now to your friends, family, colleagues. Just share it out and start a watch party so everybody can join in on the conversation as well. As Dr. Cheryl Wood takes the stage right now, we ask that you share it out. And here you are, our keynote for the day, Dr. Cheryl Wood.
Hey, everybody. This is Dr. Cheryl Wood, international empowerment speaker, master speaker development coach, and 11-time best-selling author. And I am so excited. I'm so fired up about this opportunity to be here as a part of the Power Up Summit. And first, I have to do first things first. I have got to thank Kern Cherry. Thank you so much for your willingness to move forward with your vision, even in spite of the fact that this was going to be held as a live event. You were willing to still execute the vision, even though you had to shift, even though you had to create change almost at the last minute. You still said, hey, I've got to show up and serve my people, my tribe, my community who is depending on me. They're looking to me for guidance, for direction during these uncertain times. And so I just want to celebrate you and say kudos for executing even in the face of change, even in the face of uncertainty. We're here. And thank you for the invitation for having me as a part of this amazing summit. So for those of you, this is your first time hearing me, experiencing me, maybe you don't know who is Dr. Cheryl Wood. I briefly want to share with you my story, and then I really want to dig deep into today's topic. And the topic that I'm going to present is going to be all about how to power up your profits as an information expert, a virtual information expert, even during COVID-19. Because look, one of two things are happening for businesses right now. Either you are barely surviving because of what's happening due to COVID-19, or you're thriving. And I think all of us can agree that we have seen businesses who are on both ends of that scope. We've seen businesses who are struggling. They're in a space of desperation and scarcity. They don't even know how much longer they're going to be able to keep their doors open. But we've also seen on the opposite end of that, amazing businesses that are thriving. and are generating more profits now than even before COVID. So the question is, what's the difference between the two groups? What is it that I can do that will allow me to be on this side that is thriving and increasing profits, even in the midst of a pandemic? That's what I want to share with you today. Some of the tools that I've even personally implemented in my own business so that I can thrive, not just survive. But first, let me give you a little bit about my backstory, because I want you to understand why I'm so passionate as a part of this, being a part of this platform, why I'm so passionate about teaching other individuals how to become virtual information experts so that they can monetize what they already know. So for me, my journey started about 11 years ago, back in 2009. At the time, I was still working a full-time corporate job. I was a legal secretary by trade. I did that because that's what I knew how to do. I was good at it, and I got paid decent money. As a legal secretary, I was working in the nation's capital for law firms, and typically my starting salary was about $75,000. I would always be in these highly visible positions. I always had the gift of communication. You know how you have a gift, but a lot of times we sit on our gifts, and a lot of times we diminish our gifts because it comes to us so easy? That was me. For 15 years, that was me. Going to somebody else's job, working in a 10 by 10 cubicle, no window, never knew what the weather was like outside. And I stood at that desk all day from 8:30 in the morning, sometimes till 6:30 or 7:30 in the evening, based on what was happening. And it just wasn't okay. At a certain point in my life, it wasn't okay anymore that I was doing something I didn't love. I was doing something, going and supporting someone else's dream, and my name would never be on the outside of the building, so that wasn't connected to my legacy. It wasn't okay because I hadn't tapped into the thing that was my God-given assignment. And I know that's going to resonate with somebody who's going to listen to this, because every one of us has a God-given assignment, a divine assignment, if you will. And every one of us has these unique, special gifts that have been given to us to use to impact other people's lives, to transform other people's lives, to transform our own lives. But so often we don't execute on it. We just sit on it. And so what I share quite often is that you are sitting on what someone else is waiting on. Can you just type that? Type that in the feed, wherever you're listening to this. I am sitting on what someone else is waiting on. In fact, let's change that. And let's just say, I will no longer sit on what someone else is waiting on. That means you are making an intentional decision that what you possess, what you know, what you've learned, what you've experienced holds so much value that you would not dare keep it to yourself. So again, you're looking at a woman who now, yes, I'm an international speaker. I travel all over the world. I've traveled and spoken in South Africa, in India, in France, the United Kingdom, Canada, the Bahamas, and that's just to name a few. I've spoken all across the United States. I've spoken for amazing organizations, including NASA. Just this year in 2020, NASA hired me to speak do a leadership training for their group of people. I've spoken for the FBI, the U.S. Department of Defense, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, law firms, big conferences, the Power Networking Conference with Dr. George Fraser. The list goes on and on and on. I've been featured in Forbes magazine, Black Enterprise, Essence, and all of that is so juicy and sexy. I always like to say I'm in my sexy chapter 10 right now. It's juicy and it's sexy and it sounds like, oh, wow, I want that. But the reality is it did not start there. It started with me being frustrated on my corporate job, being tired of doing the same thing over and over and over again and no different results. And we know the definition of that is what? Insanity. I got tired of building somebody else's dream, punching a time clock, having to come and go when someone else told me I had to come and go. I got tired of dropping my 3 young kids off at daycare at 6 in the morning, didn't get back to see them until 6 at night. And then I brought home the worst parts of me to my family, my husband and my kids, because I was frustrated. I was disappointed. I felt that I was living a lackluster life. So I felt like I was existing, not living. And I just got tired. And so it was being tired and being frustrated that prompted me to start my journey. And I didn't have all the answers when I started. And I didn't have a full blueprint when I started. But I was willing to learn and grow. I was willing to invest in myself. And I was willing to ultimately see myself as an information expert. who was sitting on what someone else was waiting on. I had to shift everything about my perspective about who I was. I had to shift my belief system. I had to shift my mindset and what I was saying to myself about myself. I had to get rid of toxic thinking about the fact that, oh, because I grew up in poverty as a young girl, and because I was a legal secretary for 15 years instead of, oh, I wasn't a director, I wasn't a supervisor, I wasn't a C-suite person, right? All of this stuff that I was telling myself about why I wasn't adequate, why I wasn't qualified, why I wasn't enough. I had to eliminate all of that stinking thinking. And I had to realize that it wasn't just through knowledge and education. It wasn't just through titles or positions that people become an information expert. You become an information expert through your real life experience, or as I like to say, your on-the-job training. And I mean on-the-job training from every aspect of your life. Yes, from your career. Yes, from being a mother. Yes, from being a wife, from being someone who has to organize my household on a daily basis. Like every part of me is what I have to bring into my business to understand just how powerful I am as an information expert. When you look up the word expert in the dictionary, this is what the word says. An expert is a person who has a special skill or knowledge that's related to a particular subject. So I had to drill down on everything that I knew and then drill down further on the thing that I felt was my specialized skill set. What was that specialized knowledge that I could offer into the marketplace to teach someone what I knew, but they didn't know yet? And that really does require you believing in yourself. That requires you understanding that you have value right now, just as you are. And what I find a lot of times through the customers and the clients that I work with, my individual coaching clients, through the people who come through my speaker training certification program, I've learned that oftentimes we diminish what we know because it comes so easy to us. So we don't view it as a specialized skill. We don't view it as specialized knowledge that, oh, someone else would be willing to invest in, because we've diminished how valuable it is. So that's number one. You got to get out of that mindset that what you're sitting on isn't valuable. It is valuable. Even at its most fundamental, basic place, like the most basic information that you have is still of high value to someone who doesn't know what you know. Just think about it for a moment. Think about when you've witnessed someone who is walking in their brilliance. They're walking in their lane of expertise, and you're looking on and you're observing in awe. And what do you say? Man, I sure wish I could do that. My daughter, my 16-year-old daughter, does henna, and you can kind of see it a little bit on my hands now. It's kind of fading away because it's like several weeks old. But I look in awe at her, and I'm like, man, I wish I was that creative. Man, I sure wish I had that skill set to draw and to be creative and doing those henna designs for people. The same way you look at other people in awe, but to them it comes so easy and so simple, and they probably diminish it, is the same way that people are looking at you and your expertise. Man, the way that she articulates herself. Wow, the way that he is able to crunch those numbers. Wow, the way that she is able to just pull herself together and be so fashionable and trendy. There's someone who is looking at you and wishing they knew how to do what you do. And it's your job, if you're really going to be a legacy creator, because see, legacy, when we look at the word legacy, that means you're passing something down. So if you're really going to be a legacy creator, you are passing down what you know. So every time we hear those words, oh, I'm going to create legacy, I'm going to create legacy. Are you really creating legacy? Are you really teaching other people what you know? Are you sharing with them the talents that you have so that it touches and transforms someone else's life so that they are able to get to whatever their big end result is? And a big part of that is through this space called being a virtual information expert. Why? Because that's how people are consuming content right now. So I want to introduce this somewhat, it's not a new word, but I want to introduce a word that I have not been hearing much as we've been in this space of COVID. I hear a lot about the word shift. I hear a lot about the word pivot. But as I said and really thought about it, I said, what is it that business owners really need to implement if they're going to thrive during COVID? And the word that I came up with is adapt. If you're going to thrive, if you're still going to see your money increasing, even during a pandemic, you must adapt. The word adapt, it means to become adjusted to new conditions. These are new conditions. This is unprecedented, uncharted territory for all of us. I don't think most of us have never lived through a pandemic. So these are new conditions. But when you are willing to adjust to the new conditions, what that means is you're not going to stay stuck in your own way of doing things. You're not going to stay stuck in the old way of doing things. You're not going to simply sit and say, oh, I don't know what to do. You're going to figure that out because you're going to be willing to adjust. That's what the word adapt means, to adjust to new conditions. And even though it might be uncomfortable, even though it's unfamiliar, it's new territory, you are willing to be a trailblazer. You are willing to get out in front of everybody else and say, I'm going to adapt. I am going to keep providing what I know into the marketplace so that someone else gets exactly what they need. And that's why I admire Kern for moving forward with this summit, even though it was intended as a live summit. She is the perfect example of what it means to adapt. Okay, look, people are scared to travel right now. People are scared to come out. COVID is increasing again. So we've got to come back and we've got to stay settled where we are and enjoy some of this still time that we have, but also maximize the still time. So you have to be willing to adjust. You have to be willing to adapt to the new conditions. So I want you to just type that in the feed. I am willing to adapt so that I can thrive. I am willing to adapt so that I can thrive. And when you adapt, you will understand that there is still a way for you to be relevant. There's still a way for you to be relatable, and there's still a way for you to be profitable in your business, even though you've had to adapt and adjust to new conditions. So the question that you need to ask yourself is this: am I making sure that I'm showing up in the marketplace and being a creator and a producer, not just a consumer? Am I showing up in the marketplace and making sure that I'm showing up as a creator and a producer, not just a consumer? Buying and selling is still happening. Buying and selling is still happening. How many things have you purchased since we've been in COVID, which has been at about the early part of March? How many things have you purchased? So we already know that you're consuming. Even I'm consuming. I can't even tell you how much I've spent on MAC makeup and products between MAC and Mary Kay, because my sister sells Mary Kay. So because I have to beat my face for every virtual conference that I'm a part of, every summit that I'm a part of, every podcast, if they're video recording it, every virtual interview, Facebook Live that I do, I need to beat my face. So I've spent a lot of money on makeup products, more than I've ever spent before. Y'all, that's called buying and selling. It's still happening. I've purchased more books now in COVID-19 than I have probably in the past 3 years, because I've been doing these free training series, and every time one of the experts recommends a book, I'm on Amazon right away and I'm purchasing that book. I've purchased clothes online. Why? Because a lot of the malls have been closed until recently. So are you buying? The answer is automatically yes. We know that you're buying something, but are you selling something? Are you selling what you know? Are you selling your expertise so that you are not just a consumer, but that you are a creator and a producer who's able to still increase profits even during a pandemic? And the beautiful thing is that a big piece of what people are buying right now and what they're looking for right now is education. It's learning. It's training, it's development. Why? Because they have more still time, STILL, meaning we're sitting still. We've been in quarantine. Even though we're no longer in quarantine, we're still encouraged to stay at home, right? You're not able to go out and enjoy certain things the way we used to. Even though businesses are slowly opening again, these are new conditions. Going back to the word adapt. You're adjusting to new conditions. So people are investing in the things that they can invest in from home, which a lot of that is learning, education, training, and development. Just think about what you've seen in the marketplace. Every class that you can think of, people are hosting, and they're doing it virtually, which there's a beautiful thing in that. The beauty in that is that you automatically go from fishing in the local pond to fishing in the global ocean. That's the beautiful piece about becoming a virtual information expert. You are no longer just fishing in the local pond, you are fishing in the global ocean, because virtual allows you to touch lives globally, not just locally. So even for myself as an international speaker, normally I don't have this much still time. I am normally on a plane, a train, somewhere, on an automobile going somewhere, flying to somebody's event to speak, whether it's here in the US or whether it's a international event. I'm at least 3 times a month, 4 times a month, I'm flying, I'm somewhere else. So I don't have this type of still time. So we have something that is to our advantage as business owners, is that people are at home. People have still time to invest in learning almost at a level they've never had time to invest in before. I've seen everything from dance classes to photography classes to cooking classes to business and entrepreneurship classes, budgeting classes, how to get my finances in order. Like, I've seen classes and training and master classes at an all-time high. The question is, are you maximizing that? Are you maximizing that potential to touch people's lives through being a virtual information expert? And so as you're considering that, and you're considering, hey, either I need to start doing it and I need to get over myself and get over my own fears about, oh, I don't know technology. Guess what? I'm not a huge tech savvy person, but I'm going to make some money. I'm going to sell some stuff in the marketplace. I am not going to allow my business to fold just because I have to adapt. No. That's not our mindset. Our mindset is, I am willing to adapt. I'm willing to adjust to these new conditions. I'm willing to shift. I'm willing to pivot. I'm willing to do what's necessary to get my message into the marketplace based on how people are currently consuming it. So here's what I want to offer you today. First of all, I want to offer you some questions to think about as you're considering becoming a virtual information expert, even during this pandemic. And I want to offer you an idea to help broaden your mind of some of the things that you can sell as an information expert so that you can increase your profits. That sound good, everybody? If that sounds good, type that in type in the sounds good, Dr. Cheryl. That sounds good. I'm ready. Go ahead. I want to hear y'all. That sounds good, Dr. Wood. I'm ready. All right. So here's the first thing you want to do. You want to identify who and what. Identify who and what. So here's the what. Let me start with the what. The what is, what specialized knowledge do I currently possess that someone else wishes they knew? And that means you got to take an inventory of what you know. Like sit down and literally, almost if you had a brick and mortar store and you had to take your inventory, you need to take inventory and categorize everything that you know that is a specialized knowledge that someone else wishes they knew. That means don't discount anything that you know. Don't discount anything that you've learned through real life experience, through opportunities that you've had, through books that you've read, through people you've been connected to. Count all of it. Here's number 2. What special skill set or talent do I possess that other people wish they possess, that I can teach them how to develop? What special skill set or talent do I possess that I can teach others how to develop that skill set or that talent? Number 3, what success have I achieved that other people are looking on and wishing they could achieve this level of success? So maybe it's a certain amount of money that you're generating. Maybe you went from $0 in your business to now you're generating 6 figures or multiple 6 figures or even 7 figures. And now you can teach someone else how to achieve that. Maybe for myself, I could say, hey, I went from a broke speaker to a speaker who's been able to generate multiple 6 figures in my own speaking and coaching practice. I was able to walk away from my full-time corporate job and become a full-time entrepreneur, and my business is thriving. My business is highly profitable, and it's continuing to thrive even in a pandemic. Well, maybe someone else wants to know that, and I can teach that. And here's number 4. What process or system have I mastered that I can teach someone else how to master? That's the what. So you're talking about specialized knowledge. You're talking about a special skill set or talent. You're talking about a certain level of success that you've achieved that someone else might want to know. How do I achieve that level of success? Or even a process or a system that you've mastered that now someone else can learn from you. Okay, that's the what. Think about those things. Really give yourself permission to dig deep and take inventory of what you know, what you're sitting on that someone else will be willing to learn and to invest in. And here's who. The who that you want to think about is who is looking for this information right now. And I mean right now. Number 2, who has a sense of urgency about getting their hands on this information right now. So not only are they looking for it, they're not just interested in it, they're committed to it, and they have a sense of urgency about it because there's a certain pain that they're currently in that they want a solution to. They like, I'm tired of being in pain, I'm tired of this thing. And when people are in true pain, that's when they step up and they take action. So who is that? Who's looking for that? Who's in so much pain right now that they want the solution now? There's a sense of urgency, not, oh, I'll get to it next year. Oh, when situations get better, I'll get to it. That's not who you're looking for. Looking for the people who have a sense of urgency. So who has a sense of urgency? And number three, who has the ability to invest in it right now? Those are the three core things you always want to ask as a virtual information expert. Who's looking for it? Who has a sense of urgency about getting the solution right now? And who has the ability to invest in it right now? Critical that you look at those things. And you can go back and you can look at where are people who are interested in what I offer? Where are they coming from? Where am I generating the interest from? Is it a certain lead magnet that I created? Is it because I cross promoted with someone else? Is it because I did a free series? Is it because I ran a Facebook ad? Like who are they and where are they coming from? That's important. Every time that you get a client, you need to ask them, how did you find out about me? Who referred you? Or how did you get a hold of my information? Did you find me on Instagram? Did you connect with me through LinkedIn? It is always important. It is always important that you get as much information as possible so that you can rinse and repeat whatever the process is of how that person got to you. All right. So that's the identifying the who and the what. And then once you know who it is, and once you know what you want to teach them, then you got to ask yourself the most poignant question, which is, am I speaking their language so that they can easily find me? Am I speaking their language so that they can easily find me? And then taking everything that you have, that you know, and turning it into how-to content. How do I master this thing? How do I become a specialist in this? How do I go from point A to point B in this particular industry? Whatever the thing, how do I become a highly paid and highly booked and highly paid speaker? How do I budget my money during uncertain times and during a pandemic? How do I monitor my mindset when I'm in a space of uncertainty? How do I stay healthy and well and fit during a pandemic? There is so much knowledge that you're sitting on that somebody else is waiting on and willing to invest in. And let me just say this before I continue with the next set of questions. It's so critical that you take what you have and you introduce yourself in the marketplace as a trusted advisor, not a product pusher. Type that in the feed. I am a trusted advisor, not a product pusher. You're not forcing products on people. You're not, whether it's a digital product or not, you're not forcing things. We are in the business of persuasion, not coercion. Coercion is when you're trying to almost make people feel forced to do something. Oh, or they feel guilty if they don't do it. No, we're not in the coercion business. We're in the persuasion business. Persuasion is, hey, I know that you've been struggling with this thing. I know that you desire this result, and I know you've tried it 10 other ways, but now I want you to try it my way because I know my way is going to get you direct results. That's persuasion. It's through your languaging. So always show up as a trusted advisor, not a product pusher. I am a trusted advisor, not a product pusher. I want to see y'all typing that in the feed. I'm a trusted advisor, not a product pusher. When you are a trusted advisor, there's this energy that comes across that lets the person know, you know what, she or he has my best interest at heart. They are genuinely interested in my transformation. They are not just interested in just a quick sale. And that's how you want to show up in the marketplace. That's going to allow your profits to increase. So when you have identified what information you're going to share, the what, right? What's the specialized skill, the knowledge, the content, the thing that you've mastered, the system, the process, whatever it is, the success that you've achieved. Once you've identified that, and now you're turning it into that how-to content that you're going to sell, I'm going to give you 9 questions that you need to ask yourself as you're preparing that information. Again, you're an information expert. And right now you're going to be a virtual information expert because that's how people are consuming content. All right, here we go. Number 1, does this information have a big promise connected to it? And what is that big promise? Does this information that I'm sharing, does it have a big promise connected to it? And if so, what is that big promise? Number 2, does the information that I'm going to share contain quality content and substance that's going to add great value to my customers? Does it contain quality content and substance that's going to add great value to my customers? Number 3, is the information that I'm going to share, is it timely, is it relevant, and is it relatable to what people want right now? I don't care what they wanted 6 months ago. That's not relevant right now. Remember, we're adapting, which means to adjust to new conditions. So you've got to adjust. You've got to adjust in your business and make sure that sometimes it's just a little tweak that you need to make it relevant for what's happening right now. So I'll give myself as a quick example. So typically I am teaching entrepreneurs how to unleash the power of their voice and how to unleash the power of their story and to get on stages and create wow experiences that move people into action so that they can have an increased level of transformation. I'm normally teaching people how to dominate the stage, a live stage. You know, what do I say? How do I say it? When do I pull in my story? How do I develop my signature speech or my keynote presentation? You know, what do I do with my hands? You know, how do I show that I'm energized? How do I engage the audience more? How much do I charge to come and speak? Do I have to have a speaker contract? Like, the list is extensive of the things that I teach new and emerging and aspiring speakers, right? Now we're in COVID. There's no live stages. Does that mean I sit still and sit quiet and don't teach anyone anything because there's no live stages? Absolutely not. What did I do, y'all? What did I do? Who knows? I had to choose to adapt. I had to choose to adapt, which means to adjust to new conditions, which meant I could still teach people how to dominate stages. Now, the only difference is I teach them how to dominate virtual stages. How do you show up still with great energy if it's a pre-recording and you really don't have a live audience there? How do you still keep your energy high and maintain that momentum so that people can be excited and energized about what you're teaching? How do you show up for every presentation and give a wow presentation? What do you have to think about before you press go live on that, whatever that virtual summit or conference is? How do you share your information in a condensed way? Because most times we're only speaking for 20 or 30 minutes. We're not speaking for 60 minutes like we are in a lot of live stages. So all I had to do is tweak things just a little bit to still be relevant and relatable and thus profitable. Does that make sense, everybody? So number 3 is the information that I'm sharing. Is it timely? Is it relevant? Is it relatable to what people want right now? Here's number 4. Does the information I'm sharing have practical, easy to implement strategies? Because people want to feel like they can achieve what you've achieved. Plain and simple. They want to feel like they can achieve what you've achieved, that they can somehow get to the place where you are. And so you have to make sure that the content that you're sharing is practical and it's easy to implement. All right, number 5, does the information that I'm sharing have identifiable and measurable takeaways so that people will be able to see their growth along the journey? Does it have identifiable and measurable takeaways so that my customers will be able to see their growth along the journey? Number 6, am I delivering my information, my content, in a way that is compelling, that is interactive and engaging? Why? Because engagement increases people's experience and their willingness to say yes to the next step. So it has to be engaging. It has to be interactive. They have to feel like, you know what, you're speaking to them, not at them. Are you sharing your information in a way that speaks to their heart, their soul, what they want, what they're craving for, what they have a sense of urgency about? And is it engaging and interactive? It pulls them in, not like a lecture, right? Hopefully this doesn't feel like a lecture. This shouldn't feel like a lecture. This should feel like we're having a conversation in your living room or in your kitchen, right? Because there is a strategy for that, for being able to deliver a presentation that way. So again, am I delivering my information and my content in a way that's compelling, interactive, and engaging? Here's the last 3 questions. Number 7, does my information contain versatile learning styles? Because people learn different. Have I incorporated things for people who are visual learners, people who are auditory learners, and people who are kinesthetic learners? Am I making sure that I tap into every type of customer that I might come in contact with as I'm delivering my message so that it adds greater value to a broader audience? Number 8, is my information, this is key, y'all, is it authentic to who I am and what I believe? Does it really reflect my true voice? Meaning, don't show up sounding like, walking like, talking like anybody else. Just show up as the authentic you. You are enough, you are capable, and you are worthy just as you are. You never want to be a good imitation of someone else. No, you want to be the most amazing representation of the true, authentic, genuine you. And number 9, does it include my story? Does my information, when I'm out here saying I'm an expert, am I making sure that I include my story? I share with you guys in this presentation my story about working in the corporate environment as a legal secretary for 15 years. I shared my pain of dropping my kids off at 6 in the morning and not picking them back up until 6 p.m. and giving them the worst parts of me. I talked about building somebody else's dream, but my name would never be on the outside of that law firm building, right? That's my story, so that there's a deeper connection. And in your story, there are 2 parts to the story. There's your mess and your success. And you have to incorporate both when you are showing up as an information expert. Your mess is your connection to every client, every customer, every audience. And your success is your credibility with that customer or that client or that audience. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're creating what people want, not what you think they need as an information expert. You want to make sure you make it easy for people to be able to find you, connect with you, and buy from you. You want to serve first and sell later. That's why we said be a trusted advisor, not a product pusher. And guys, you want to get into the habit of asking for referrals from customers who you've helped to create transformation in their life. Like, those are the best people to ask for referrals. As I'm starting to wrap up, I want to share with you a list of that I call my DPO, which are ways that you can start generating revenue almost immediately as a virtual information expert in the marketplace now, even amidst COVID-19. A DPO is what I refer to as my diversified portfolio of offerings. That just means you have a menu of options that you're extending to people of how they can purchase from you. So let me run through these really quickly because I want to make sure I stay on time. And I want to give all of these to you. You guys ready? So I'm going to run through them and you can always come back. I believe there's going to potentially be a way for you to listen to a replay, but you'll be able to come back and listen to that again. So it's a DPO. What's my diversified portfolio of offerings? All right. These are virtual ways that you can serve the world virtually based on the expertise that you already have. You don't have to go get another certification or degree. Just take what you already know and format it into these things. Number one, virtual training courses. Maybe it's a 4-week, maybe it's a 6-week, maybe it's an 8-week, whatever you decide the time frame. Number two, membership platforms. Big chunk of passive income. I have a membership called Elevation Entourage. We have about 275 women who are in that platform right now. We just started less than, I think it's been 60 days now, 60 days ago. And that's passive income every month that revenue is coming in. So that's 275 people at $27 a month. You do the math. So membership platforms are huge. Number three, video or audio recordings are big. Number four, bundle packages. So maybe you're bundling a masterclass with some templates or with a virtual training course or pre-recorded something, audios. You can bundle things together and deliver it to people in a bundle package where they get more value for their dollar. Number five, paid webinars or free webinars that lead to a sale at the end of that webinar. Number six, downloadables and printables are huge right now. Worksheets and cheat sheets and templates and checklists and questionnaires and assessments, how-to lists, tutorial guides. Like, you should be tapping into all of those things that people can just click, they buy, and they download it automatically so that they can work on it. Number seven, any type of digital product, virtual product. Number eight, masterminds. Number nine, individual coaching. Number 10, group coaching programs. 11, masterclass sessions, right? All this is virtual stuff that you can be using to generate increased revenue and profits. Don't sleep on this stuff. And you can't just do one. It's not just one or two. Can you implement 6 or 7 of these? That's why we call it multiple streams of revenue, right? Number 12, certification programs. I have a certification program called Vocalize Women's Speaker Academy. And in that academy, I have a speaker certification program for women. And guess what? That's all delivered virtually. So you can still run your certification programs virtually. Number 13, affiliates. You can do affiliates for services and products. 14, books, your paperback, your hardback books that people can purchase from online. And you can have it where they purchase it through Amazon and you're getting those royalties, or they can purchase it directly from your website or your sales page and you collect all of the money. Then you just have to be responsible for shipping it out. However, whatever works best for you. Number 15, what I call paid pick my brain strategy sessions. So people are always asking me, Dr. Wood, can I pick your brain? Can I pick your brain? Sure you can. Let me send you the invoice for that. So I don't turn people down and deny them from picking my brain, but that is going to cost you. Why? Because success is never free. It wasn't free for me. It's never going to be free for anyone. Number 16, ebooks, informational ebooks that teach people how to do something step by step. Really big right now in the marketplace. 17, repurpose content. What did you do 6 months ago, 12 months ago, 2 years ago? Was it a webinar? Was it a class? Was it a video record? What is it that you can pull out of the archives or out of the vault and repurpose it for people to purchase now? Number 18, client referral systems, meaning you increase your profits by having a client referral system set up where when people refer people to you and they sign up for your program or your package or your course or whatever it is that you're offering, they get a percentage. But guess what? You getting that money is better to get the 75%. Let's say that your payout fee is 25%. Better for you to get that 75% than to get no percent. So don't be afraid to embark upon referral systems where people get a payout based on them sending paying customers to you. Number 19, rev share speaking opportunities. That's when an organization says, hey, we're having this virtual event, this virtual conference, and we want you to come and speak, and we're going to put butts in the seat. You can sell your program or your course or your training or your audio, whatever it is that you have to sell, and we'll take a percentage of that. 20, book anthology projects. I'm doing a book anthology project right now called Courageous Enough to Launch. I had 47 women who said yes to being a part of that project. I only charged $600 for the project, but at 47 times 600, we generated $28,000 from one book project. And we're not doing a live launch, we're just doing a virtual launch. So our expenses are less, which is why we lessen the investment for the people who said yes to participating in it, right? You guys getting this? And then last but not least, number 21, products and merchandise, your t-shirts, your journal books, your mugs, guys, do it all. Sell it all so that you can keep those profit margins increasing. You do not have to struggle in business, even though we're in a pandemic. You can thrive. You can not only survive, you can thrive. Your profits can really go out of the roof now. Please do not underestimate the fact that buying and selling is still happening. Buying and selling is still happening. The only question is, are you just buying as a consumer? Or are you making sure that you offer things in the marketplace as a creator and a producer? In closing, I want to share this quote that it just touches my soul. I keep it nearby. I keep it on my phone. I have it posted up on my wall. And it resonates with me so much because, as I mentioned at the beginning of this session, every single one of you are an original masterpiece. Last year, I hosted my first International Women's Conference in Paris, France, and I got to go to the Louvre Museum. And in the Louvre Museum is the Mona Lisa. People come from all around the world, from every country, and stand in line, including myself and my family. We stood in line just to get a glimpse of the Mona Lisa, just to take a picture of the Mona Lisa, because it's an original masterpiece. You are an original masterpiece as well. And you have the ability to serve people from all over the world with your knowledge, your skill set, your talents, your experiences. Someone somewhere is waiting on what you know right now. They want to learn it. They're looking at you in admiration and in awe. And you don't have to be the person who has millions of followers. You don't have to be the person who has millions of likes. You don't have to have celebrity influence or any of that to still transform lives and be profitable as a virtual information expert. But you do have to show up. You have to do this. I have this 3-part formula. You have to show up, you have to speak up, you have to follow up over and over and over and over again, so that people know that you're there in the marketplace to serve their needs, so that you are showing them you have relevant and relatable content that's going to add value to their lives, even during a pandemic. So I want to share this quote as I close out. It's by Miles Monroe. And the quote, and I'm sure you've heard it before, but as I'm sharing it, I want you to think about it a little bit differently. When we hear this quote, a lot of times we think about it in terms of ourselves and what we haven't executed, what we haven't put out into the marketplace yet. We haven't written that book yet, or we haven't started that company yet, or we haven't done whatever the thing is yet. But I want you to hear it with different ears this time. I want you to think of it in terms of what you're holding someone else back from because you're not showing up. Whew, that gives me goosebumps. The quote says this by Miles Monroe: "The wealthiest place in the world is not the gold mines of South America or the oil fields of Iraq or Iran. They are not the diamond mines of South Africa or the banks of the world. The wealthiest place on the planet is just down the road. It is the cemetery. There lie buried companies that were never started, inventions that were never made, best-selling books that were never written, and masterpieces that were never painted. In the cemetery is buried the greatest treasure of untapped potential." So I want you to let that sink in. And I want you to realize that you are indeed someone's answer. You have the prescription to someone's pain. You have the blueprint to help someone tap into their untapped potential. You have the remedy for somebody's deep desire to become the best version of themselves. The question simply is, will you use it? Will you stand in and walk in your position as a valued information expert who transforms other people's lives? Will you be the information expert who shows up in the virtual marketplace and helps that person write that book, helps that person get healthy and fit and well, helps that person learn how to express themselves through communication, teaches someone how to become an amazing orator or speaker who is able to touch lives? Whatever the thing is that is your lane of expertise, you are an original masterpiece, and somebody else's life will be forever transformed the moment you show up. So that's a decision that you have to make. Are you going to show up? Are you going to view yourself as an information expert? Are you going to be willing to adapt, meaning to adjust even in face of these new conditions? Or are you just going to quarantine? Self-quarantine and not share what you know, and keep the prescriptions that you have for people's pain all to yourself. I dare you to show up for somebody else. I dare you to stay consistent. I dare you to come to the front of the room and be visible, even in times of uncertainty, because people need what you know now more than ever before. You are enough, you are worthy, and you are capable just as you are. Believe it, let it resonate, and get out into the world and transform lives, even in this virtual marketplace that we're currently in. Again, I am Dr. Cheryl Wood. Thank you for your time. Thank you for saying yes to investing in you as a part of this amazing Power Up Summit. Thank you, Kern Cherry. For those of you who want to stay connected with me, you can connect with me all across social media at Cheryl Empowers. That has an S on the end, y'all. At Cheryl Empowers. I hang out on Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter, like pretty much every social media platform. You can find me at Cheryl Empowers. And I actually have a free gift that you can go and grab on my website at CherylEmpowers.com. Again, that has an S on the end, y'all. www.CherylEmpowers.com. That's CherylEmpowers, CherylEmpowers.com. If you go there and you enter in your name and your email, you will see this beautiful free downloadable gift that I'm offering, which is my signature story template, because you are sitting on a powerful story that somebody else is waiting on. And that story becomes your connection to close more sales. So every one of us has to know what is our signature story that's going to be our deepest connection with the people that we're called to serve. That template is going to help you get started. So go to CherylEmpowers.com and grab your free signature story template so that you can start making greater impact and transformation in the world. Again, thank you. Stay motivated, stay empowered, stay powered up, and stay on your journey. The world needs you.
Wow, as usual, Dr. Cheryl Wood always delivers, always elevating. That's right, elevation entourage. I know you ladies are out there enjoying, and I hope you are sharing, because we are, when Dr. Cheryl Wood is in the house, she always brings her entourage with her. And so I'm so thrilled that she's always willing and always delivering and dropping those nuggets. So I hope you took note. I hope you enjoyed what she delivered, as we're now going to an amazing panel discussion. And I'm so thrilled at the ladies that I get to talk to in this panel discussion about how you show up. How you show up. How many of you actually think about how you show up on the internet? How are you showing up on the social media platform? Yes, it's Facebook, Instagram, and other places, but how are you being seen when you show up? So we're deep diving into this conversation, and we want to make sure to give you some tips on what you can do to make sure that when you show up, you're always showing up well, and that no matter when they see this video from about you in the future, it is always evergreen and it will represent you well forever. So join me in the conversation with Pam Perry, PR coach and Speaker Magazine, Renee Huffman of Women of Dignity, Lauren Sinclair, my stylist. That's right, my stylist. If you were at Success Women's Conference last year, then you know that she is the stylist. In addition to that, we have Shadera Allison, one of our own ambassador, Power Up co-chair ambassador. And we're going to be diving in deep on how you show up. Welcome to the Power Up Summit panel discussion on how you show up. And I am so fortunate today to be joined by several experts in the field. We're going to talk about how you're showing up on the internet, on the social media platforms, or just in general. So today I have with me Pam Perry, Speaker Magazine, PR coach. My stylist, Lauren Sinclair, is here in the house as well. And then I have the fabulous Renee Huffman is also here, Women of Dignity. And then Shadera, and she know I mess up her name, I'm sorry. Allison is also with us as well, you know, one of our brand ambassadors for the Power Up Summit. So I'm gonna have each one of them introduce themselves so you can kind of get to know who they are and make sure you follow them as well. So Pam, let's start off with you.
Yes, thank you, Karen. This is so cool. Power Up Summit. I love it. I love it. So I hail from Detroit. I'm a publicist, trained publicist for the last 3 decades. And I'm the publisher of Speakers Magazine, which is 3 years old, which you were the cover girl for the month of May. Yay! And I just really just thank you for the opportunity to talk about what we've been talking about in private. So this is good.
Time to bring it to light. Next up is Lauren Sinclair.
Hi guys, I am Lauren Sinclair of Lauren Nicole Designs. I am a fashion, image, and brand strategist. I spent over a decade in television news, as well as being a fashion stylist and designer. I am so excited to be here, to be amongst this panel with beautiful women that are bringing it. So I am ready for this discussion because they are all bringing it right here to this digital stage.
Yes. Thank you, Lauren. Next up, we have Renee Huffman.
Hey, I'm Renee Huffman from Dallas, Texas, and I am the CEO of Women of Dignity Media, which includes a fabulous new magazine that Miss Cherry was just featured for July. And I do graphic designs, Dignity custom designs, and we help people with their branding, marketing, just restoring women with helping them to restore their dignity. That's my brand.
Yes, thank you, Renee, and a beautiful magazine as well. And we have up one of our brand ambassadors, co-chair, Shadera Allison.
Hello all. I am hailing from Greensboro, North Carolina. And I am an Amazon best-selling author, plus brand ambassador and influencer. It's nice to be here with all these beautiful ladies tonight.
Yes, and these ladies do know how to show up. So we're going to dive right in because, yes, I've been having a lot of behind-the-scenes conversation with several of y'all. And so we're going to dig deep, and we're just going to jump right in to one of our first questions, which is why? What do y'all consider what's important about showing up well? I want to ask you, what does that mean to you? So, Pam, when I ask you that question, what do you think about? What should people be thinking about showing up on the internet? And why is it important?
Well, one of the main things, Karen, when they show up, they should make sure that they have the basic necessities so that you have good lighting and that you have what I call like a brand shot. So a brand shot meaning that whatever you want to represent, that it's in that shot. So a lot of times I just saw a psychologist that was doing they were doing their live from their kitchen. If they were a chef, that would probably be good. But basically, they were a psychologist and they were in their kitchen. It's like, what is that about? So it was distracting. It was off message. Also, too, you want to make sure you have good lighting, that you're not too dark, that your lighting is crisp so people can see that. Typically, you want lighting in front of you, because if it's behind you, you'll have that backlighting. So you want to have good lighting. And what I always tell with ladies, the basic things that you want to have is that you want to make sure that you have eyebrows, eyelashes, and lips.
Wow.
The main thing that people look at is they look at your eyes. So you want to make sure you have good eyebrows, eyelashes, and you're speaking in your lips. That's the basics. You don't have to have the contouring, but just show up with a little bit more than a typical run to the grocery store, right? You want to show up as your best.
Show up as your best. So Lauren, you and I talked about this as well. And I know you were telling me, as of course being my stylist, what can they do? What Pam just mentioned, what are some of the things they can do, easily do or buy to help them with that?
Well, Pam touched on a lot of key things that I would definitely give as quick tips for someone to do, because a lot of people think, okay, I have to go out and buy a whole lot of stuff. Well, you don't. Now, my husband is a professional photographer. However, when we first, I did my first digital conference back in, I think it was late March. And I was like, babe, I need lighting. And he was like, well, all my lighting is packed up. So he went to the garage and he got a light that he uses when it's just a mechanic light. So when he's working in the garage, he can see. And then he got an umbrella, which is a photography umbrella, but you don't have to have a photography umbrella. Guess what else you can use? You can use a sheet, a white sheet, and you just want to diffuse the light so that it's not a hard light. So those are two things that you can just get: a light, even a flashlight. You can take your lamp and take the shade off of it and then put your white light to kind of just make it softer. There you go. And that way it will give you more of a smooth look. And then also, like right now, I'm not using my laptop camera. I'm actually using my phone camera. And that's because your laptop camera does not have the same quality as maybe your phone or a camera that is separate, that you would buy by itself. And so you want to also look at that. And that's something I didn't have to buy. That's something I already have. We all have a cell phone. And so those are just two key things that you can do. And of course, when you're showing up, of course, like Pam said, a pop lip is everything. And I think almost all of us have on a pop lip this evening. So yes. A pop lip is always great. And of course, something really nice up top to really just show a little pizzazz, in which all our ladies came with a little bit of pizzazz this evening as well.
Okay. All right. I like that. So, Shadera, you are a brand ambassador and you do it very well. So what do you do? So for a lot of people, they're thinking, okay, what is a brand ambassador? Why would I want to be one? Why do you choose to be an ambassador for other people? And what do you do to help with that, to help show up well on the line? Talk about your part as a brand ambassador.
Well, I think it is energy, big energy. A lot of people actually have gotten to the point where they seek me out for that role because I bring a certain energy. So I tell people who are trying to promote, you have to have a real knowledge, a real vigor, a big energy. If you're not excited about who you are, who you're representing, then the community that you're marketing to has no other choice but to feel like, well, we don't know. So I always tell anyone who's looking to be a brand ambassador or looking to stand out to have a big positive energy and a real good belief, positive belief about what they're bringing to the stage. Another beauty tip, angles. Know your angles. A lot of people kind of get lost in the shuffle when they don't show up with their best self. The camera is your best friend if you know where to position it. So bring your best angle. And last but not least, the most important in my opinion is creativity and individuality. I think that even amongst women, you can get lost in trying to find out how to be this or who do and how to move these things around. But the best person in the best position you can show up in or of, even as a brand ambassador representing someone else, is yourself, bringing creative flair and bringing individuality. That is always the best key when you're wanting to show up strong anywhere on a platform.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, yeah, exactly. So I am over to Renee, because Renee and I have had this conversation. I'm gonna ask Renee and Pam to comment on this question. So Renee, you and I have talked about photos because we've been tweaking some photos here. I should say you've been tweaking some photos. I hadn't been doing nothing but making comments. But many people, when you go out into the world and we're networking and we're doing pre-corona stuff, which is going in to an event, bringing our business cards, handing those out. And I always say that business card is going to be around long after you leave the room. So when you go virtually, you're now using your photos and pitching yourself. And I get asked many times, many times, can you send me a headshot and a bio and that type of stuff? So I want to start with your headshot. You know, so a lot of people just send whatever they got. And some of them, and I'm trying to coach people, but tell us what they really should be doing. Because you made some comments this week and I was like, well, the photo looks good. And you're like, the background, Karen. So, you know, kind of give us some input on what really makes a really nice photo from your view.
Well, I mean, being in digital, you know, I call it the digital era, and it's so important because back, you know, so many years ago, or people may still say it, you know, location for business. And so now we're in the digital era. I want you to write this down today. Is presentation. It's how you present. That's what people are looking at. They're looking at your presentation. So with pictures, it's very simple. A white background. For all nationalities, we should have a white background, a nice headshot, looking forward. You want to make sure you're looking forward. You're not taking those model pictures. You just want to look straight so that when we do the flyers, it's not hard to position you. Behind the scenes is so much for us to do. So if you have a good photo, it makes us want to even do more for you. That's just the truth. When your picture is bad, it takes more time. So you just want to make sure that you have a good professional headshot. Your background, you should do white. Remember to do white. And let's talk about a little bit what I told you, Miss Cherry. When you're African American and you have a black background and your skin color, they don't match. Your color doesn't pop. But we know with just general white and black, we know the black pops off of the white. So that's why it's so important to understand that you just need a white background, and we can work from there.
Okay, so Pam, so I want to come in my cover. I want the cheetah print on the front cover. Look, you have selected me and you picked me and you said, hey, Karen, send me some pictures and send me several so that we can look at them. But I want that cheetah print dress, you know, the one that I'm just saying. So what do you suggest when we're going for we're sending in covers and stuff? What should we be thinking about? Well,
I'm kind of like, you do need to have a forward-looking picture, right? Mm-hmm. And you even see like George Fraser on the back. You know, you see both of those are very crisp, and you can see that it has a background that I can either knock out because it was a white background, I can knock out, and I can put other words to the right or to the left. So one of the main things that I'm finding is that people decide that this is a good picture. I'm dressed up. I took the picture in my car. The lighting was good. I have my seatbelt on. I call them the seatbelt selfies, and they look a hot mess. And it's like, that is not going to work as a professional shot. Yes, you do have your makeup done and your hair is done, but we do not want to see you in that car. We want to see the whole background clear so that I can knock out the background so that you're standing the right. Sometimes you take a picture like this where your shoulders are square, you don't look as good as if you turn it a little bit this way. This way it's like with a driver's license, right? You got that driver's license look, but sometimes if you just turn a little bit to the side, it's a little bit more flattering. So it's kind of like what someone said, you know your angles, right? You know your angles. But I find that most of the pictures that people are sending in are so bad because they think because it's a good picture with their cell phone that it's a good picture as a professional shot, and it's not. A professional knows what they're doing. They center you right, they have the right background, you have the right look, and it's really easy to manipulate. If I have to flip it to the left or to the right, it's just easier. And really, if you're a speaker, and you could be a great speaker, but if your shot is not good, people will doubt whether you speak well. That's just the bottom line. Because then they can't promote you because your picture is bad. People haven't heard you yet, but all they have is a picture, and they're trying to promote you on a flyer or something on a website, and your picture is bad. So that people, you need to invest in pictures. How much? At the very minimum, probably $250. You know, you could go do a setting and get, 5 pictures at least.
Oh, wow. So that takes me over to Lauren, because I'm like, that is so important for people to know, because people think, well, I got to spend $50 and you're saying at minimal, they should be looking at $50 and get about 5 different shots, right?
Right. $250. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
different outfits.
And different outfits. So that brings me to Lauren. Lauren, I'm getting ready to get my I'm going in for those photos, and I'm going in my closet. I'm pulling some stuff out. What should I be thinking about when I'm going in that closet? What's your suggestion? Because you are the fashion expert.
Well, before you go into the closet, I need to know if you can afford a stylist first. So if you can get a stylist, that will be always my first set of directions. See a stylist. And the reason why is just like anything else, it is easier to see something from outside the box. Mm-hmm. So when I look at you, I'm looking at you from a different set of eyes. When I look at myself in the mirror, it's completely different from when I work with a stylist myself. Even I work with a stylist. So it just, you have a different set of eyes, especially for something like a photo shoot. Like I may use, I dress myself every day, but if I'm doing a photo shoot and I'm looking for a different look, something particular, then I may pull in a stylist to help me with that. And it's just nothing wrong with investing in that. Sometimes we get scared about the investment and if we'll see the return on it, but I guarantee you will see the return on it. Like some of the other ladies have said, sometimes a picture is all you have to judge somebody on. And so if I don't know you, if I'm not your mom, your cousin, or your uncle, and all I'm going by is your picture, I can skip right over your event, skip right over your sponsored ad, skip right over your Instagram story, whatever it is, your graphic, whatever it is, I'm going to skip right on over because it's not appeasing to my eyes. And so we also want to think about that when we're choosing colors and things like that. Bright colors, especially on our skin complexion, it's going to be great. Reds, oranges, all of those rich colors, yellows, those are going to look really, really nice. You also want to take at least one photo in something white, okay? And then if you want to break it up a little bit, then put on a blazer on top of it, and that will break it up a little bit. But you want to always take something in white. Stay away from that black. Stay away from that black. Stay away from the black, because like one of the ladies said, when you are against a black background, that's not going to work. and it also can just make you look dull. And we want things that the light is going to bounce off of. That white is going to bounce that light off. It's going to help when editing the photos, all of that. So you want to make sure that lighting is good. So those are just a few things that you can do when you are going to look in the closet to go take a photo shoot. First thing first, hire a stylist.
I agree. Y'all should have seen me last year. I was looking fab-boo. I didn't say fabulous. I said fab-boo because Lauren had me working it, and I didn't have to lift a finger. She planned all my outfits, and it was amazing. So a stylist is worth their weight in gold. Get you a stylist. So that being said, Shadera, I know you've done modeling. And so, and it speaks to your talking about angling before, you know, so what do you do when you're going and getting those pictures? What are some of the things that you prepare for just to walk in the door as a person who's doing, representing other people's brand? What are some of the things, technique that you do just going in to a shoot?
Bringing proper accessories and makeup. Everybody is not in love with their MUA. Some people have an on-set MUA and just don't have the chemistry it takes to kind of give you the look that you want, but you have to remain teachable and also bring accessories. Much needed red lip. All the ladies here rocking the lips. I am so for it tonight. It's a great staple, even if you forgot anything else. Never forget your concealer, a good base foundation, a red lip, and some mascara, because it's going to make the difference in between looking really ready for the camera and somebody who just is ill prepared. Also, me being a curvier woman, when I have to come to set and I know that I have that extra little piece of love hanging somewhere in an inopportune time, I'm always there with my Spanx or a good underneath shapewear. And if I don't have that, we're going to have the best editing tool known to man to make sure that waist is cinched. And also, when in doubt, have the greatest soundtrack ever. I will throw on Beyonce in about 2 seconds if I need to get really pumped up before a shoot, or whoever, you know, kind of just boosts your confidence. Make sure that, again, that kind of falls right in line with the energy. Energy is just like an accessory now. Energy is just like red lipstick. If you don't have energy, you can come fly as ever. Your photos are not going to look great if you're bringing soggy energy to the photo shoot. So good red lips, good makeup accessories, great shapewear, a good editing tool. Beyonce works. No, the soundtrack of your choice, and you're gonna be great on set.
Awesome. Look, y'all, now I'm just gonna throw this plug out for a good friend of mine who does a lot of photography down here, Brandy Stage. Oh my goodness, the photos y'all see me with, and I know sometimes it's people like, I saw that photo before, but her photos are just priceless. They're consistent. She knows how to get those angles that look, and like you said, for us curvier women, or for us that are having a bloating moment, she's got that technique that helps you get that right angle, so she doesn't have to do as much editing of the photo. So investing in a photographer who's actually, I mean, she's been trained professionally in New York and places like that. So she's really good. So what I'm saying, for those of you who listen, make sure that you take an opportunity sometime, go up a little bit. You know, it's going to cost you more, but at the end of the day, these people are bringing it. And guess what? It looks like you bringing it too, because you've joined in with them. So so thank y'all for giving those tips, because I feel like most of the time I see so many headshots that just could have been better. You know, so many pictures that could have commanded attention because of where they were placed, but the photo wasn't that well. And like you said, Shadera, bring the energy when you come in the room. You know, so when you enter the room, your presence is felt even on a piece of paper. You know, so I love that you shared that part, because people don't understand that. So that being said, So we're gonna go back to, why can't I show up in pajamas? I'm in my house. So what's wrong with me showing up in pajamas? I'm on the internet. Nobody can really see me. What, come on, Pam, tell me, why can't I show up in pajamas?
Because the internet lives here forever, and you just don't want to do it. Somebody can screenshot it, and it's just out there. I mean, and you feel better when you look better. You do. You feel better when you dress up. You feel better, like people say, put on your Sunday best, because you want to feel your best and do your best. So it's I know we're in like COVID-19, sheltered in place and all of that, but I'm telling you, if you dress up, you will be more productive. Your attitude will be better. If you're walking around in pajamas you haven't changed in 3 days, it's gonna wear on your attitude. I guarantee you, it will wear on your attitude. You'll be sloppy because you're dressing sloppy. That's really the bottom line.
So Lauren, I'm just networking on the internet. I'm just joining a networking conversation. My kids are at home and stuff. So why can't I just put a head wrap on? What's wrong with that?
Listen, can I say no, 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 no? No. We cannot show up like that. You have to treat your digital stage like your physical stage. Would you show up in front of 300 people in a head wrap? No. Would you show up in front of 300 people in pajamas? No. So we have to treat this digital stage like it is our physical stage. And in fact, instead of a physical stage, you may only be in front of 300 people, but on your digital stage, you can be in front of 10,000 people. It's all about that reach. This platform we have is amazing. And so you could have some really good points. You might be on fire this day in your head wrap, in your pajamas, and we can't use it. Because I'm not going to use it in my reels and in my promos of you in a head wrap and in your pajamas, because that's not the type of stage or platform that I'm presenting. So the whole point of all of this is we want to expand our reach. We want to expand our community. We want to have opportunities to be on other people's stages. And showing up halfway is not going to create those opportunities. It's not going to increase our community or our reach.
So Shadera, why do I need to put makeup on? Look, I said I'm in my house. So I don't want to put makeup on every day. Why? I'm just getting on the internet. I'm joining my group. I'm just gonna be on there for a little bit. So why makeup?
Well, that's an amazing question, Kern. I'll say it to you this way. When I published my first book, I remember having thoughts of putting myself on the cover, and my publisher was like, until you become an uber-duper superstar, you don't need to put your face on the cover. I said it's the same thing with makeup. If Beyonce showed up on camera tomorrow without makeup, it'd be okay, because her presence has already spoken for her. Her platform is solidified. But especially if you're trying to be a newcomer coming into the game, you want to show up as your best. It can actually signal some arrogance, unless you just have fabulously glowing skin, that you show up mediocre in front of, like Lauren said, a stage. Until you take your craft serious from head to toe. And a lot of people picked on me the whole time I was in quarantine. I was like, oh, honey, you've been working quarantine. I said, yeah, because you guys may not have a target or an aim, but I still have an audience, and I have jobs that are looking at me. I can't be showing up mediocre. So unless you have built a stage where that's a part of your act or that's a gimmick for you, you are always on the stage. Like Lauren said, you cannot show up half dressed. It shows your followers that you really are not taking your craft seriously. And it presents a sense of arrogance if you don't already have a platform that solidifies that that's okay.
So Renee, look, I know I'm online all the time, and I have my group, and I'm hosting, and I don't necessarily invest in a whole lot. I don't really believe in makeup, so I want to be on your cover, your magazine, and so, and you are saying that maybe not. Why? What would make you say, okay, this person really isn't representing well, may not be cover material. What makes you as a magazine person hold back a little bit?
Well, I've been approached, I want to be on your cover. And, instead of just telling them, I'm sorry, at this time you're not, you can't go forward in the process, I give them tips. And those tips are, you want to make sure you take those professional pictures. You want to make sure your hair is, neat. I've been given pictures where their hair is flying all over the place, no brush, no comb, and we're supposed to present this. It's, the key is always be professional. You want to make sure that when the CEO or the VP from Essence magazine or any magazine, that they look at you and say, okay, I want her on my next cover, or I want, that's what we have. You have to make sure that it's professional. And my tips are professional headshot. Make sure your hair, you're groomed, you're clean, everything to go on that cover. But I do have a mentorship program to help those who need help to come up on their platform, I should say.
Okay, so Lauren, I have a personal page, a Facebook page. What's wrong with my dog being my profile? What's wrong with that?
By itself? No, we can't do that. Is it Scuffy's page or is it your page? Okay.
It's my dog. It's my dog. Everybody know my dog.
Well, we need to give Scuffy his own page, okay? It's not on your page. We just give him his own personal page, and his followers may grow, but that's not how you're gonna grow yours. So we want to make sure that you have your picture, a great picture up there too. Don't you wish you could click on the profiles on Instagram? You can't click on them yet, but you want to make sure that it's a beautiful picture. A lot of times that's what makes people click on your actual page to go through and see who you are. That picture captures your eye. It's like, oh, who is this? Because I might see Shadera's page and I'm like, girl, she is killing this picture. I'm going to go to her page and I'm going to find out she's a brand ambassador now. We'll figure out how she can be my brand ambassador. So it's all it's just step after step. Everything that you do is, it evokes something else. It's going to create something else. It's a catalyst for the next thing. And so you want to make sure the profile is good. Now, you might want to have Scuffy in one of your pictures because it is important to show that personal side within your Instagram page or your Facebook page. You want to show a little bit of that personal side of you, but you still don't want to go too far with it. You want to give people just a little bit inside and then close it right on back up, okay? So Scuffy can be on one of those posts, but definitely not on their profile picture. We're going to sign him up with his own page, okay?
Okay. So ladies, occasionally I've dropped a few F-bumps. That's not really me, but I'm just saying this. Okay. So, Pam, you as a person who has a magazine that you've been running for many years, and you're making a choice on who's on your cover and stuff like that. Why would this be something that would affect me being on your cover of your magazine? I'm willing to pay. So is there a problem, that I occasionally, type some stuff that may not sound appropriate?
Well, everybody has an opinion about whatever. It depends on your values. So for us, that's not a value that we are trying to promote. Mm-hmm. So for us, that's not going to work. And basically too, people wouldn't, my company overall name is Ministry Marketing Solutions. So that is definitely, you're going to know right there that we're not playing with that. Okay. So that's one of the things, but I think when you have a business that's aligned with your values, you're going to know what's going to work and what won't. So we're not going to have anyone on our cover that's too risque, that's going to look, you know, too much like like, I don't want people to get confused, like, oh, is this a porn magazine or is this a magazine for speakers, you know? So it's going to have a certain look, a certain style, a certain brand, and it aligns with their values. And that's really the whole nut of it. Because I mean, you could do whatever you want on your personal page, but you just can't represent the cover. The cover is what we're married to. So we want to be in a relationship with someone that we really know, and that they know us, and that we share values. So.
Okay. So Shadera, you're a brand ambassador, and you know, 5 years ago, I just, you know, took some pictures that may not represent well, but it was 5 years ago. I have cleaned up my act. I've cleaned up and taken everything off the internet, is washed it out, is, you know, everything, you know, and you're saying that I can't represent, that you're saying that some companies may not. I mean, what's your opinion?
That's another power up question. I think Pam said this earlier. The internet is forever. So me, I am the infamous comeback kid. I think that actually bad photos can work for you if you proposition them in a testimonial format only. Because I'm a millennial and we have one of the most controversial generations out, I understand the importance of being a marketing. I don't have to compromise my Christianity. I don't have to compromise my values. I understand how to make it appealing to all genres by saying, hey, this is where I used to be. This is where I am now. And Lauren said something absolutely important. She said, give them a little bit and then close the door. So audit your social media. And I understand the importance of that. But unless you're going to position those pictures as somebody you used to be, and you've made a glorious change, it can hurt your appearance, and it can kind of, you know, typecast you into a role that you not necessarily want to get in. And image is so very important on certain platforms. So yes, if you do have a picture that's 5 years old and you're a rock star and you're drinking and swinging from trees or something like that, in that regard, partying hard, it can hurt you if you don't position it well. But if you're ever pressed about it, you should never be ashamed of your past. Own it, but own it as a part of your history and not who you want to market as the woman you may have been now or becoming now. And I'm definitely the champion of that story, unashamedly, because as a millennial, we have a past. So we want to bring the good to the front, and also just giving them a little bit to know that you're still human. That's how you make that work.
I am so glad that the internet was not around when I was in my 20s.
Okay, Pam. Are you trying to tell us something? Are you? I think a lot of us are glad the internet wasn't around.
As fine as y'all are, because I know Miss Pam is gorgeous. Y'all so pretty.
Oh, Lord have mercy. I don't know, Pam. I think our parents would have killed us, and so it probably truly was good. Yeah, no, the internet would have been shut down. They would have closed, because our parents really back then didn't let us do a whole lot of nothing. Remember those party lines? I know you remember those. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no. So that being said, you know, a lot of people come on networking events that are online. So networking is everything's going online. And I know a lot of y'all, you know, we all realize that, we see that it's coming that way. But I often see some people they're online, and I know it maybe because they're introverts, but at the same time, I look at networking a little different. But what would you suggest for a person that they get online and all we see is your photo that you put up? And I know occasionally we all put our photo up just because we're doing something. But for those, every time you see them, you know, they got a photo up instead of coming online to connect. You know, you kind of know what I'm talking about. So what is some of the things, I'll ask each one of you, what do you recommend? Because my thoughts, you know, a little different. I'll share it at the end, but Renee, what do you suggest as far as coming online? Just a networking event.
Well, you want to mix it up a little bit. You want to make sure that your posts, they're speaking to your brand. So you want to mix it up a little bit. I feel that you should show a picture of yourself because that kind of brings your audience in. They're excited to see a new picture of you. So to me, it's very important to kind of mix up your posts and keep baiting them in, bait your people in to your brand. And that's how I network online.
So, Lauren, what about you? Do you believe in just, putting your picture up a lot, or how do you feel? Because, there's a lack of connection going on here, really. I mean, in the world right now, we have created a real distance. Social distance is actually worse than we think it is. But so what do you think? What would you recommend? If I'm going to a networking event and it's virtual, how do you feel like they should show up? What is your
if I'm going to a networking
event, a networking event online?
I'm sorry.
How should they show up?
Right. Should they, some people come on and the first thing they do is they don't show their face.
Oh, okay. I understand your question now. Okay, so yes. So if you're going to a conference, especially like a networking conference, it is a given. The video should come up. Do use your picture. Definitely you want to be able to engage. And you also, when you're like, this is different from physically being able to connect with someone. We have lost that, like you just said, Kern. So you have to find ways to connect. You have to find ways to connect with your speaker. And one of the things you may see that's cool during conferences is that people really make their backgrounds look really cool. And I tell you a little bit about who I am with my background. So you can see my two little sweet babies right there. I'm a mom, and then we are very much a photography, honey, they'll give you some pictures, okay? So that just tells you a little bit about who we are. And even this little plant here, you probably wouldn't even believe it, but we are a plant family. We got a whole garden in the background, in the backyard. So like these things tell a little bit about who I am, and it also may make someone ask me about something. So in digital conferences, you also have breakout moments. You go into these breakout sessions, and now I may have a personal conversation with someone. They may ask about something behind me. Even the host of the conference may say, hey, Lauren, I like that picture of your son in the background. These are just little ways that you can kind of connect with the people and have that connection that we didn't have when we were in a physical presence. But definitely take that picture down. I know I actually spoke to a mastermind group, and I did not like that everyone did not come on. It was very, very relaxed. Now, I still came with my lashes on, but it was relaxed, all right? And everybody, I couldn't see everyone. And it was a very comfortable, relaxed type of setting. So I really wanted to be able to engage with people. And that's how you feed off with people too. And then you'll notice that your speaker will also may pay attention to you because you are nodding and you're agreeing. So you want to do all of that when you're coming on to a digital platform, especially for a networking digital conference.
Ah, okay, that's good tips right there. Okay, so Shadera, being an ambassador, and you are an ambassador for the Power Up Summit, why would I even want to, some people say waste their time. Why would you do that? Why would you want to be a brand ambassador for an event? So I want to talk about that, on why it's important that people start looking at why it's important, and then how do you show up in that? How do you make sure that you're showing up as a brand ambassador? Because I think people take things, or they agree to do things only to put their name out there. But how would you say, as a brand ambassador, how would you recommend them showing up?
Brand ambassador is like, let me tell you, first of all, I'm in love with Miss Kern. cheeks in the seat. Cherry, let me tell you something. Brand ambassadoring is the best come up a business can make as it pertains to marketing, media, and having people do your digital advertising. The reason why brand ambassadoring is so important is because, number one, like Lauren stated, everything you do is rolling over into another opportunity. And when you begin to serve at one level in a grand excellence and really serve the position, and when I say serve it, I mean take it as serious as if you were on a stage speaking your best story to whoever is in the audience, is because people are always looking for the fabric of what you do. If you can take an ambassador position, which really people may take as small, but it's really not. If somebody's choosing you to represent their brand, and you can take a brand ambassador position and blow it up as if it's the biggest thing ever, whoever is watching you, and they're gonna say, I want this person on my team, because they know how to get people engaged. They know how to, a brand ambassador is nothing but a junior media and marketing executive. If you take that little tidbit serious, you could be looking at a grander position. But if you flake it off and act like it's just something, I gotta post a flyer. Let me tell you a little testimony. I did brand ambassadoring last year with the Success Women Conference, and it changed my entire life. I actually was able to get to the elite status, which gave me the opportunity to just network with people who I loved, that I watched on TV, Jill Tankard, Ayala Van Zandt, for God's sakes, Karen Cherry, and yes, Lauren, you smashed Karen Cherry's wardrobe. She was fierce, okay? Fierce, honey, fierce.
Yes.
You know, Sonia Strickland, Dr. Sonia Strickland, and those women, like, I left the place in tears. I was forever changed. And as a brand ambassador, of course, my little network worth is a lot different in colors than some of these women. But doing a job well done got me seated at the same table. You understand? So I think that ambassadors bring a flair, and if they're great and energetic, they bring great representation to your event. If you pick them strategically, different ages, different races, they bring different audiences to an event. They also show that whatever your event is, it's like the Chick-fil-A of an event, because when the ambassadors are present and they're energized, they're like, whatever they got going on must be the secret, honey, because this girl is giving me all of this life. I've had people, you know, when I did that ambassadorship last year, people were like, okay, so what is this thing so we can buy tickets next year? Because I'm going, okay, where I got to travel from. So I'm telling you, I think ambassador is like the key plug-in. And it is, like I said, the junior marketing executive of whatever event that you're going to have. You have to have a program. You need a program. Even if you're selling cakes, you want to get your brand ambassador to sell your cakes. If they're cute and energetic, people will buy from you. So that's my tidbit on it.
Yes, ma'am. And you've done a wonderful job. So in closing, I'm gonna come to each one of y'all, and I'm gonna start with Renee. Why you have a magazine, and I often, you know, it's a beautiful magazine. When I found out this woman has walked in a gift that was sitting inside of her, you know, and self-taught at that. Hats off to the Woman of the Day campaign that you've done for the Trailblazers who lead. It's been amazing. My women have just totally enjoyed it. So Renee, why would I want to be in your magazine? Tell us, make sure to share how they can reach you, and tell us why I would want to be on the cover or in your magazine.
Well, you know, we all have platforms, but it's so when you come on to the Women of Dignity platform, it's taking you to another platform. So it's absolutely a place where women are helping women. I stand for dignity, making sure that we have respect, you know, that self-respect. And it's so important because we put you out there. I just released Latanya Pie yesterday, and like, I don't know, but like, I woke up this morning, she already had 200 hits on her Facebook account. I mean, it turned over quickly. And it brings you business. It brings you brand new business. It keeps you, my thing is always keep yourself present before the people. They should always see you. So you always want to do advertisement. A lot of people think, oh, I have to pay to be, on a magazine, or it's advertisement, a billboard. But this is putting you out there. So you have to come up with unique ways. And I think my magazine is a unique way to help you to promote yourself, to push you to the next level and connect you to other platforms. So you can reach me on all social media outlets, Renee Huffman, Women of Dignity Media. Though you can reach me those ways, or you can reach me on wodmedia@yahoo.com. And I'm a behind the scenes type of person, but God is pulling me out. So y'all just bear with me in the name of Jesus. But he's pulling me out because I'm definitely behind the scenes. I could stay there all day and do graphic design, but God is calling me to the forefront. So.
Yes, ma'am. It's time to share that gift, girl. Definitely. Now, Lauren, my favorite stylist. Yes, ma'am. Lauren, you had me hooked up. Y'all just need to go to Success Site and just look at those pictures. My outfits were slamming. Lord knows she got my waist tucked so tight on some of those pants. I'm like, yes, snatch me.
Yes.
Yes.
We believe in a snatched waist.
Girl, I was snatched all over. Makeup was banging, hair, everything. Lauren, tell people why. As you mentioned earlier, a stylist is key, but we want to make sure they understand the importance. And I talked about this, one of the things I wanted to talk about at the conference. Why would I get a stylist for a conference? I'm hosting an event. I ain't got time. I don't have time to spend time styling myself and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna get that dress, a couple of my faithful, and then, go to one of these department stores and pick out a dress. Why? Why would I get a stylist?
Well, let me just start with Old Faithful that you said you were gonna go and get out your closet. Old Faithful ain't always right, okay? It may be your faithful dress that you like to grab on because it's comfortable, but she ain't faithful to the body, okay? So listen, you want to get a stylist because you want to get someone that, again, can look from the outside in and look at you and take you to another level, okay? A stylist is going to help push us out our comfort zone. We put Kern in a pair of black tuxedo stripe sequence pants, and the tuxedo stripe wasn't any type of stripe, it was a rainbow stripe. Okay, so Kern probably would have saw these pants and would have said, no ma'am. But when she put them on, she fell in love. And sometimes we need someone to bring us outside of our comfort zone to realize that is our comfort zone. Okay, so hiring a stylist will help you elevate your image, okay? And then not only will it elevate your image, but it will also save you time, which saves you money, okay? So we spend hours, not 15, 20 minutes. We spend hours online trying to figure out what we're going to wear to something. It could be the simplest event. Most of the time, we're going to find something new that we want to wear, okay? So now instead of spending hours online finding something, we're going to a department store trying to find something. You bring on a stylist and now you have saved the money, you've saved the time, and now they have more resources as well than you have. I have different showrooms that I work with, different vendors that I may work with, or things that people have sent us that they want to see on clients and things like that. So my resources are going to be a little more extensive than what you have. And so you want to be able to save the time, you want to save the money, and then if you are hosting an event, you want to be able to come with the fire. I've had clients tell me that after I have styled them, when they go to an event, that they have more people talking to them than they did before I styled them. And it's nothing special necessarily that that I did, other than I made the look appeasing to someone else's eye. Something looks attractive, and when something is attractive, then it pulls us in. So I may be an author and you came to me just to really tell me that my shoes were cute. But guess where that conversation led? That conversation led to you buying my book. So your image has to be right. And in order to get that, the look that really just takes you outside of your comfort zone and takes you to the next level, get a stylist, someone in a fashion consultant, so that someone can help you and in turn save you money and earn you money all at the same time, honey.
And where can they find you, Lauren?
Well, you can find me on Facebook as Lauren Nicole Designs. You can find me on Instagram as the Lauren Nicole, and then you can just simply go to my website at thelaurennnicole.com. And Lauren Nicole is spelled with one N, like you see down there. With one N, Lauren and Nicole shares it. And I would love to have you join my email list. We give out fashion tips and branding advice, all of that. You can go to my website, thelaurennnicole.com, and sign up.
Yes, and girl, let me tell you, those pants had stylists coming to me asking, where did you get those pants? I'm not kidding. I'm like, people that hadn't talked to me in years came up to me like, where did you get those pants? I'm like, interesting. So yes, style does matter. I'm not gonna lie, it's amazing. So yes, so Shadera, I'm gonna ask you, so you talked about the brand, being a brand ambassador and things like that. Tell us what you would tell people to represent themselves online, to get themselves out there more, to make sure that they're visible and they're representing right. But what do you do? Because you're a pro at it, girl. You're a pro. So, and then tell us what's fine. Yes.
I was just gonna say earlier, if you're a person that's always taking pictures and that's all you do, you need to meme it. You need something, a caption. So what I do, they have plugged me as the bio queen. I take a very nice shot of what you do for your business, and I make it just look like the fairy godmama touched that thing, and you are going to sell yourself to whomever. I had a very big client close today, and she got her project, and she was like, whoa, Shadaria, oh my God, I didn't expect, like, I have to live up to my bio. And I just come to tell the truth on you in an elaborate way. So they call me the bio queen, and I think that is something that we kind of forsake when we are coming and showing up. But when Karen Cherry calls you and says, hey, I want you to come speak at my event, and she asks you for a bio, you go, my name is and nothing else, you kind of are selling yourself short. It's like taking a photo with words. So whatever you have from your captions, like I've done blurts for people, I write mission statements, vision statements. I make sure people show up in a way that people read your resume, your bio, and say, you know what, I don't know why I like banana chips, but the way she just sold banana chips, I'm going to go try me some banana chips. So I am hired to tell people's professional story in a paragraph or two or more, depending on how much you're willing to pay, so that you can come to the light as your best self. Me being a best-selling author with Amazon, people want to know already what I had to say, and it has bled into a pretty good business for me to be able to bring people to the stage that way, and I enjoy it. It is I love to hear people love to see, wow, this is me, this is what I've done. So yeah, I like to beautify it. You can find me, because I know we moved along, at ShadariAllison.com. They call me the doctor. So I would love to work with you. Let's do it.
All right, Shadera, and she is on all the platforms. So look her up, and I'm going to be sending you my bio.
Yes.
It still needs a little touch up. And let me tell y'all, we had 700 plus speaker applications for success. So guess what? If that bio don't look that great, trash. I guarantee you, trash. Your headshot ain't banging, trash. I'm telling you now, it is so much a process to eliminate and pick people. Even in video, I always tell people, look, do a 5-minute video. something like that, anything to represent yourself, so that I, as a person who are looking through all these speaker applications, last year I had 400 plus. By the time we finished, I think we was up to 500 plus, selected 100 speakers. Okay, I will never do that again, by the way. But the bottom line is this: I had to do. There were people that were telling me I work 10,000, but you don't even have a video to share with me. So I got in this conversation with Pam, Pam and I met years ago at Dr. Cheryl Wood event. And then we saw each other at George Fraser event. And I said, hey, you know, I'm just so tired of people sending stuff in, and they're not even sending enough for me to judge them. So Pam, as the owner of Speaker Magazine and being a PR coach for all these years, and by the way, many people putting their foot in their mouth right now need a PR coach, so they do need to see you. You should be blowing up on just that alone. But you know, so feeding off what Shadera just said about the bio and stuff like that, when dealing with your product, your magazine, and dealing with speakers, I've seen Ed Gordon on your cover, George Fraser, Kim Coles. I mean, oh my goodness, Dr. Avis, who now has her own TV network. I mean, just on and on and on. Dr. Grant. I mean, all these people. And so you know speakers, because they're all speaking and stuff. But talk about, you know, why would they want to be a part of your speaker magazine, and you know what they can look for and what they can gain? Because I can tell y'all, first of all, because of Pam, that Power Up Summit website, I have gotten so many comments from that website. Thank you for that, Pam.
Oh, I love that logo too. Yeah.
Yes, well, exactly.
So one of the things too, shout out to Tanya, one of the things too is that when you Google, if someone says I'm a speaker and they Google you, what's going to show up? And so Speakers Magazine is that pivot. It's a physical magazine, but it's also a magazine online. So when people Google you, they'll see your speaker reel, they'll see your bio, they'll see 2 or 3 different pictures. They'll see that you're in a container with other speakers. It's not like a speaker's bureau. It's a speaker's promotional tool. So that's what I say when people are saying that they want to do something, they speak, I'm just like, oh, okay. And I Google them and it's like, okay, well, nothing shows up. There's no podcast, there's no video, there's no photos. It's like, how are you speaking? What are you speaking on? So it just legitimizes people. I really do think. And if they're serious, they can see their community of speakers where they need to be. It gives them a benchmark. It gives them a benchmark. So they'll see, yeah, Les Brown was a cover, George was a cover. We had a lot of quote unquote big speakers on the cover, Kim Coles, but then in between we had people that were just professional speakers, people that just took the industry seriously. That's what Speakers Magazine is, for Black speakers. And so we're affiliated with Black Speakers Network because we want, the speaking industry is a $1 trillion industry, but for African Americans, it's not, because we're not coming up to where we should be in terms of having a professional speaker reel, professional photos, professional bio, making sure that you have other media that will be, if they're going to Google you, that they show that you are who you say you are on this Speakers Magazine site. So the people want to see all the issues. They can download them for free. They can read them online, or they can subscribe. They can go to speakersmagazine.net, speakersmagazine.net. And there they can read them all. They can see the videos, hear the podcast, and we even have a Speakers Magazine show as well. So you go to speakers.fm.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This has been such an amazing discussion tonight. Just in general, having this conversation is amazing. I look forward to continuing this conversation, and we'll also have another panel where we're going to talk about some digital stuff as well. So thank y'all for being a part of this. Thank you for being a part of Power Up Summit and taking time out of all of y'all's busy schedule. Thank you once again. Make sure that you check out the rest of the conference, Power Up Summit. We will be going for several days. Thank you again.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you. Awesome.
Wow. I am so excited after talking to these ladies and sharing about some of our behind the scene conversation, because I want to make sure that people realize that you are a brand. Your personal brand and the company that you work for, whether it's your company or not, you are representing. And so how you show up always matters. It always matters, whether you're in person or whether you're online. If you're networking, whether you're in person, online, and make sure that you do show up. So showing up on the screen and having your face not being seen the whole time is not always really showing up. And so you want to make sure that you're seen. You want to build your brand right now. You want to increase your visibility. It's time to level up, y'all. We're in a time where you need to be visible, because when all of this is over, whenever this time is over, we want to make sure that you know how to level up and to be seen and get whatever you're looking for, whether you're creating a new stream of income, whether you're trying to get that new job. We want to make sure that you know the things that you can do to make sure that you're being seen well, and that that person that's looking, they can find you. So look, I'm just going to remind you once again, sharing is always caring, and I hope you share that out, because that is worth seeing over and over again. And so I want to make sure that your friends and family and whoever sees the conversation that we have. But look, we have coming up Teresa Kennedy. Teresa Kennedy is born in Morse Point, Mississippi, right here on the Gulf Coast, but she's now currently in Jackson, Mississippi as a deputy marketing director. In addition to that, what I love about Teresa is that she actually played for Alcorn, and she was on the tennis team. And many people that know me, they know I love tennis. We traveled, my daughters and I, my husband, traveled around the nation playing tennis. And yes, they were part of the SWAC tennis team as well. And she hails from Alcorn SWAC tennis team, which they were the champions. So look, champions win all the time. She also has a bachelor's and a master's as well. And she is going to be talking to us about 5 things to do before you get started. Taking the stage right now, Teresa Kennedy.
Hello, I'm Teresa Kennedy, and I am the principal owner of 5520 PR marketing and business development firm located in Central Mississippi. I'm so excited to be here with you all to power you up your business. There are 5 things I want to share with you all that I hope that it will power your business to take it to new levels and new heights. I'm going to be going away for a second to go to my PowerPoint that I want to share with you all, so just bear with me. Here we are, the 5 things to do before starting your business. Please keep in mind that these 5 things may not apply to your business, not all of them, but maybe 1 or 2 of them, hopefully. Even if you've been in business for 1 to 3 years, I think you'll find something here that will be helpful for your business. Again, if you notice that picture there on this first slide, it speaks to marketing, the future, fundraising, strategy, success, and analysis. Ready to get started. Those are things that if you are just starting out, or again, 1 to 3 years into your business, those are things that you all consider. I'm so excited to be here with you all to again help power up your business for the future. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. if you notice my to-do list, yours probably look a lot like mine. It's so many things. Most entrepreneurs or small business owners to-do list, especially starting out, when money and capital is not as grand as you would like it to be, you have so many things to do. But it's important that you take these essential and necessary steps to create a solid business foundation before you launch or even after you've launched. So let's get into it. The first one, validate your idea. Understand that it's not about you. In 2012, I started an online boutique, and I thought going to market and buying the shoes and the jewelry and handbags that I like was what everyone else would like. No, I needed to pay more attention to my consumers and the people that I expected to buy my products. That helped validate my idea. Another one is solving a problem, understanding that when you're in business or starting a business or successfully in a business for many years, they have solved a problem or continuing to solve a problem for someone. And that's what you're doing. You need to be sure that your business is one that people would want to buy into. And also understand, and we'll talk a little bit about this later on, not everybody is going to buy whatever you're selling. Not everybody feels like you're solving their problem, but we'll talk a little bit about that later on. Another thing to understand is building relationships. In any business, it is so important that you build relationships. Not everybody buys the first time. There are at least 3 steps you take before even that person even considers buying from you. And most people buy from who they know or trust. So building relationships is very important. Whether you are a small boutique, when persons come to your website, they may just look around that first time, but there's ways to capture them, and we'll talk a little bit about that too later on. But building relationships is very important. Even for me, I do marketing and PR. The relationships that I have built over the years with persons in the news and the reporters and all of them, that's important to me. And I have to continue to support those relationships. And so even with building a relationship, it helps to validate my idea. Now let's talk about this one. Define your target audience. A lot of people bypass this part. And I don't know why, because this is a very important part. I can assure you, knowing who your target audience is, who is your ideal customer, all the way down to where they work, what they drive, what their annual income is, what their discretionary income is. Are they married? Do they have children? Depending on what you're selling, you care about if they have children or not. You care about what kind of car they drive. Because at the end of the day, whatever service or product that you're selling for your business or you hope to sell, it's going to require some discretionary income for them. Or if they see it as you solving the problem for them, it won't be everybody, but when you're able to narrow it down to that much, it will save you a lot of headache, a lot of money, and a lot of sleepless nights. I can assure you that. So defining your target audience is very important. And you can start that out, maybe checking with the Small Business Development Center. They can help you with determining who that is, maybe even Googling it. But everybody in every business need to be able to say who is their ideal customer, because when you know that, you're able to target in on them in the way that you are better using your money for marketing. Because when you get on social media and a lot of people are out there selling probably some of the things that you're selling or want to do what you're doing, when you get out there on social media, there are millions and millions of people to target, but you can't really probably afford to target everybody. So you need to hone in on who it is that you're targeting, know where they are, and go after them. Now let's talk about do a competitive analysis. I shared this with someone else and they were like, oh, well, I don't think that's important. Yes, it is. It's very important. Doing a competitive analysis helps you out. You know why? Because we don't know everything. We think we know everything, but we don't. When you do a competitive analysis, really what you're doing is you're looking at this other business and you're figuring out how are they doing it. And those are people that you want to pay attention to. Especially, they may not be selling everything or doing everything that you want to do or sell. However, if they've got one product or several products, if they have several services or just this one, offering this one service that you're going to be offering, you want to do it better. You want to be able to offer it better than they are and do it at a much grander level that will attract people to you. So you want to do a competitive analysis. It totally benefits you. And I'll tell you why. I love this quote here. It says, a flower does not think of competing with the flower next to it. It just blooms. So when doing a competitive analysis, you're not looking at them in a way that you may feel intimidated. No, you're looking at them in a way, again, that will make you do your thing on the next level or make your thing do it better. For instance, you may go to want to open a nail salon. Well, if you're already going to a nail tech or business, it may be how they interact with their customers when you first come in. So one of the things that you may do better when your customers come in is speak to them, ask them how they're doing, offer them something to drink. It could be even from the actual service that's being provided. Maybe you do a warm towel before you get started on your client's nails versus they don't. So you're not necessarily looking at them and saying, oh, I can't do it at that level. No, you're looking at them and you're still going, you're still blooming. And you want to be sure of that. So doing a competitive analysis is really big. And another thing I'll tell you is it's okay to analyze the competition that is selling or offering a similar product or service as you. You won't know what you need to improve or what to offer differently and what mistakes to avoid until you do this. So again, I tell you, analyze and bloom. All right. Now this one is a pretty big one. Creating a landing page. So I kind of snapshot of my screens a while back to show you what a landing page looks like. So if you notice there, it has my logo on it, and you've seen these too. If you've gone to almost any website nowadays, from small boutiques to corporations, if you go on their website, they're trying to get what? Your email address. They're trying to find a way to contact you outside through all the ruckus of scamming and scrolling on social media. It's hard to get your attention. But one thing they can do and get your attention is getting your inbox, and now they can start sending you emails about whatever they have to offer. So when you go on those websites, or even my website, one of the things that you will find when you get on there is a landing page. If you're not quite in business yet, but you've told people about your business, if you have your domain already and you have the website is still under construction, you can actually put up a landing page so that if you told people about it and they decide to go check it out, although you're not ready to launch just yet, you can still be collecting email addresses. They can still see that you are seriously about your business. A landing page has so many benefits, and most things that people like about a landing page from the consumer standpoint is that if I give you my email address, you're offering me something. And so for me, it may be accepting a person's email address in exchange for me to send them an email once a week or once a month about marketing tips. And so that may be something that may be of interest, because I'm typically selling business to business. I'm typically working with other businesses. Your business may be you selling to consumers. And so you may be offering a discount. Like I said, you can go to almost any website now, especially the biggest one I would probably say, you may never heard of it, or if you have or shopped with them before, is Fashion Nova. You go to Fashion Nova, their landing page is going to pop up right away. And they're going to offer you 10, 15, 20, 30% off in exchange for your email address. Your information is so important to people. You have got to see the value in it, that it be important to you and your business. Again, capturing that is really big business now, and you want to get that because you may not have no other opportunity to capture this person other than them somehow landing on your website and you getting that email address. All right. So let's get into this one. This is the final one. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time because I'm no legal person or an attorney, but these are two things that I think you should know about defining your business type. And this, I will also add in here that if you have not registered your business with the Secretary of State's office here in the state of Mississippi or wherever you are, I would strongly encourage you to do that right away. I do know here in Mississippi, to register your business on the Secretary of State's website is just $50. And that's not a whole lot to invest in your business, $50. And what you'll do there, you will have to define what your business type is. And when I say business type, are you going to be a corporation, or are you going to be a limited liability corporation, which is an LLC? The LLC, I would tell you, is very, very common in Mississippi. And I imagine a whole bunch of other places too, simply because it doesn't require a whole lot. For instance, if you were to register your business as a corporation, you would have to have a board. You would have to have regular board meetings. Minutes have to be recorded. And sometimes they may ask you for those minutes. You have to share what was discussed in the meeting. Was there a quorum met? And so those are things that are important. And that works for some type businesses. So you may want to consult an attorney on that about what best fits your business. But two things that impact how you define your business type. One is how you pay your taxes. You have to pay taxes. So there's no way around that. And you want to be sure you're doing what benefits you and your business. So make sure that you know the business type that you want to go after, or what best fits what you're doing. Two, how you operate your business. It matters, as I said before, about the board meetings with corporations and having minutes taken. I know when you get ready, during every year, at least once a year, you have to file an annual report here in Mississippi for your business. With the LLC, it's just a matter of updating your contact information, then making sure that you are still going and in operation. Otherwise, they'll dissolve your business, and you then have to pay that $50 again to have your business reinstated with the state. So those are two things that are strongly impacted by how you define your business. I am wrapping up, and I hope that there was something that I said that really, really resonate with you to power up your business. If I can't tell you anything else, I would strongly suggest that you do a competitive analysis. I would strongly suggest that you define your target audience. I would strongly suggest that you know who your ideal customer is. I would strongly suggest that you validate your idea. A lot of us have expensive hobbies. And I'll tell you now, although you're solving a problem when you get in business, you also are in business to make money. Let's be clear. You are in business to make money. And if you are doing that, you want to ensure that you are positioning your business for growth and for powering up. My name is, again, Teresa Kennedy. As you see on the screen, that's my website. You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram at 5520. And I encourage you to keep shining. And I am going to go back to our screen here. All right, I am back. And again, I thank you all so much for having me here at the Power Up Summit. And I look forward to hearing from you. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. And again, power up.
Wow, yes, you know, us Mississippians know how to deliver, and Teresa definitely delivered. And I hope you wrote down those 5 tips that she gave, because, you know, we need everything we can. We're in a time of creativity, and the more information you have at your fingertips, the easier it is for you. And so I hope you have enjoyed day 1 of the Power Up Summit, and we have a couple of more days to go. And so I definitely want to start off again by thanking our sponsors. Keep, and like I said, if you do not have your database together, you need an easy way to do it, affordable way to do it. Keep is the company you want to go with. And tomorrow, you definitely want to tune in because Darren Adams of Keep will be sharing his, talking about his program. But the one thing that Darren always does is offer a very good can't pass discount on their services. So you want to get it because you're going to need a great program like Keep to help you build your database. Now is the time in a digital platform, which I'm encouraging everybody. If you don't have one, build one, and you definitely need a database to build one with. So in addition to that, we also have Coast Community Bank. Thank you for being a sponsor and always supporting me in the things that we do. In addition to that, we have Swag Her Magazine. Thank you for the feature. Thank you for the shout outs. Thank you for the shares. Courageous Magazine. Thank you for the interviews. Thank you for the articles. We appreciate your support. In addition, we have Lakeisha Cotton and her and company from the Gulf Coast Gospel Music Award, who's also bringing us Sunday Gospel Hour. Thank you for Lakeisha for being a part and supporting the Power Up Summit. In addition to that, Go Fig. Yes, that's it. Go Fig is Rita Green. Thank you for Rita for all that you do, that you have made this conference amazing. Thank you for the support as well. In addition, my own PR and home care, always with the support of my husband. You can't do anything without a good support system. So if you need any help at home, PR and home care services is here for you. So what is the rundown for tomorrow? We open up at 8 o'clock in the morning. That's right. We're going to kick it off early. And again, we have over 25 plus speakers for this conference over these 3 days. So you don't want to miss it because from 8 to 5, we're going to have speakers all day long. In addition, we're going to add in a networking session. So you'll be able to network with people from all over the world. But of course, we only have so many slots. So it will be first come, first serve. In addition to that, we have Trevor Ott, Shay Brown. We have Dr. Cheryl Wood joining us again in a panel discussion along with Pam Perry, Dr. Yolanda Jerry. In addition, we have Darren Adams, who I mentioned before. Of course, I'll be presenting a few times tomorrow, so you want to have your paper and pencil ready to take notes as we bring speakers all day long. And then we'll wrap up that day with a meetup in person at Hilton Garden Inn. Thank you, Hilton Garden Inn, for being a sponsor, always being there and supporting us as well. We'll have a meetup, refreshments, door prizes, giveaways. We'll have our elite bags for our elite attendants. And of course, I'll be recognizing people, and we'll have speakers as well. In addition to all of that, that's Saturday. That is just Saturday. And when it comes to Sunday, we're going to kick it off with a gospel experience. Yes, a gospel experience led by none other than a Lakeisha Cotton. We'll have a few more speakers prior to the elite wrap-up experience, which is a mastermind with Ty Miles and me. So join us tomorrow, first thing in the morning. Set your alarm, share this out, share out it for the replay, and join us tomorrow for Power Up Summit Day 2.